What do you want?
Okay, so you think women should vote?
Yeah, and you're saying that we're less intelligent? Why?
If women didn't have vaginas, most guys would not talk to you.
So are you talking to me now because you want to have sex with me?
Why do you think a woman in the military is any less than a man except for physical aspects? First of all. Second of all, 75% of healthcare support workers are women. What are you going to do if all those women start going home and making sandwiches and that's all they do? What is your economy going to do? What is your military going to do? Think about it. Like, actually think about that. Tell me about that.
You're in the American military?
Yes.
Oh, God. Okay. Today's topic is going to be Why Women Deserve Less. That was my first book, Amazon bestseller. And now we got the second book, Why Women Deserve Even Less. And then the third one on the way, Why Women Deserve Nothing. So that's going to be out pretty soon. It's an Amazon bestseller in feminist theory, which is hilarious. It really is. Number one in psychology and feminist theory. And yeah, anyone that wants to come up to the mic and has a disagreement, whether it be, we'll keep it on females first, I guess, in dating. Then we can go ahead into other topics. One of the other topics we're going to talk about is Israel. I think Israel's a bigger national security threat to the United States than Iran is, by far. And there's a multitude of reasons for that. Exactly, fuck the Jews. But anyway, all right, not all of them. Just a lot of them. So yeah, man. So yeah, we're hopefully gonna have a good discussion, guys. Don't be scared. No question is stupid, or I think freedom of speech is a beautiful thing. And before I get into it, I want to say rest in peace to Charlie Kirk. I believe almost a year ago now at this point that he was sitting right here. Obviously, the coward or cowards that took his life, are pieces of shit and obviously deserve to feel the wrath of justice because the First Amendment is what makes this country so great. So rest in peace to Charlie, and we'll keep the legacy going. So what's up, man? How are you?
I'm just wondering why you have so much animosity against women's sports when women's rugby has been going insane for the past few years. I don't know if you've seen it. It's been blowing up. So how do you feel about that?
You guys have a rugby team here for women?
I can't name it.
No, you can't. I like it. He's taking a page out the Asian guy's book from USC. I remember that. Yeah, but to answer that, yeah, women's sports suck. Let's just be honest. Nobody wants to watch women play sports. It's like a slower, more retarded version of male sports. You know what I mean? Let's be honest. Like, women suck at everything compared to men, and I'm tired of having to lie about it. It's just the truth. We're better than them in almost every way. And you know what the crazy part is, guys? They want you to be better than them in every single way because women don't seek their equal when it comes to dating. They want a guy that's superior. They'll sit there and say, I want egalitarianism. I'm equal. Okay, sure, but you're smaller, shorter, not as intelligent, weaker. But anyway, anyone else have a disagreement on why women deserve less or why Israel's actually a bigger threat to us than Iran? Don't be scared, guys. You get on the mic. Promise it won't be that bad. What's up, man?
Hey, how's it going? So I got a question for you. Are you in a relationship with a woman?
How many?
Do you want to be loved by a woman? Like, do you want a traditional marriage?
Well, I do think traditional marriages are extremely important to the social fabric of the United States, and the nuclear family is the backbone of society. But we have to be honest here and realize that building a nuclear family in today's day and age with the way feminism is, the family courts, etc., it's a very dangerous proposition for a majority of men, especially if you're a higher earner. So I think marriage is a religious ceremony, and if you're going to do it, try to not involve the state. Because quite frankly, you can get anything out of a marriage from just a regular relationship. So it really doesn't benefit the guy to get married.
I mean, I am in a relationship. I've been in with my girlfriend for 3 years. I love her very much. It makes me a better man. It motivates me. And I just was wondering, like, how old are you?
Yeah, I'm 50. No, I'm 36.
So I really hope by the time
Yeah.
I'm 36 that
I'm
I'm
old, dude.
married with kids and that I'm in a happy life. Why have your choices led you to not have that goal?
Well, I'm a pretty controversial guy. People try to kill me all the time, and they hate me and stuff like that. So it would be pretty irresponsible to have a family right now. So, yeah. And the thing is with men, right, we got to, our time clock is a lot longer than a woman's. Like, a woman is in a rush a lot of times to find a family in her prime years, in her 20s, et cetera. But as a guy, your value is built on other things that take time to acquire. Status, resources, income, competency, confidence, ambition. These all take time to build.
But what about joy? Like, I get a lot of joy out of treating my girlfriend as my equal and trying to understand her beliefs.
Well, you're cooked then. You treat your girl like an equal?
I love
you're
her.
cooked, bro. Like,
Bro, you're cooked. What's happening to America? Why are we saying women deserve less, and why are people laughing at this? This is just an opportunity for people to talk down on each other, which is not beneficial to anyone.
Okay, so here's the problem, and I see where you're coming from, right? We're told the Disney fairy tales, you know, the golden rule: treat your someone else how you want to be treated, treat women nice, everything else like that. Which I agree with. I think women shouldn't work. I think the man should be the breadwinner and take care of her. But we have to be very honest here and understand that men and women are different, and we're attracted to different things. And for a woman to be attracted to you, she can't look at you as an equal. She has to look at you as a superior.
How can you say that if you're not in a relationship with a woman?
Well, okay, so here's the thing. Yeah, I'm very ugly, actually. 2 out of 10 at best. But no.
Your personality matters way more. If you treat them like you're equal, if you respect them, they will respect you back.
Okay, a man's job isn't to get in a relationship and secure commitment. That's what we give to women, okay? It's a woman's job to secure commitment. It's our job to go out there, create value, build a legacy, build a last name, and then the women are gonna come from that.
Why are you putting either of us in a box? Why do you say that we have to do certain things? Why can't we just live our lives and be happy?
Because that's just not how the world works, unfortunately.
I mean, I'm in a
It just
relationship
doesn't.
and I'm very happy.
It doesn't work that way. Women want competence. They want excellence. They don't want a guy that's equal to them.
If you're not in a relationship with
What was
one?
that?
How do you know what a woman wants if you're not in a relationship with
Well,
one?
I've been around quite a few women. I've talked to more of them than anyone else would care. Oh, is they're saying lies? Okay. I don't even know why these women are here, man. Like, is there a kitchen nearby? Like, what the hell's going on?
Because they have a brain and they have all the same parts that we have. That
Still
make
trying
us
to figure
smart.
out why these women are here not making sandwiches. Like, damn, it's fucking, get us some sustenance. You know what I mean?
This is
Set
why
up a
you
table,
will always be single and unhappy.
put the
Thank
bread
you.
out, make some bologna. Oh, this guy's mad. Okay. Yeah. So, guys, that is what you call blue pill conditioning. What he doesn't realize is that when you treat a woman like an equal, she's going to get bored, she's going to go, and the next thing you know, she's going to be fucking Nigerians. So you don't want that. You do not want that, okay? Right? He's going to be fucking walking into the room one day and fucking Dikembe and, you know, Ugalu are going to be in the fucking room running train on his chick. Oh, my God. I thought we were equal. I treated you so well. It's like, bruh, like, guys, because we got a lot of young men here, so let me give you guys some, you know, wisdom that your father, your uncle will probably never tell you because they don't want to be, you know, labeled a misogynist. You can either understand women or respect them as an equal, but you can't do both. I'm going to say that again. You can either understand women, right, or treat them as an equal, but you can't do both. So if you understand them, you're not going to, you understand that you have a duty to lead, protect, provide, and that inherently puts you in a leadership role. And that's how women want it, guys. This is the uncomfortable reality. Equality and egalitarian within relationships is a fucking lie. It's one of the biggest lies we've been told, right? So, anyway, who's up next? I know we had some hecklers over here on the side, some of the ladies. Ladies, if you guys don't have anything you want to say? Okay, just heckle from the side. What's up?
So I just wanted to ask you, what, in your ideal world, if you were given full power, what jobs would women do? What would women do in the world? Like, how would they help America?
Sure. So if I was to become Fuhrer on day one, the first thing I would do is I would bring back slavery, okay? And let me tell you why. So there'd be an IQ test on day one. If you score below an 80, you're officially a retard and you got to go into slave labor. You have to put the fries in the bag, pick some cotton, strawberries, do all the manual labor work. Obviously, you'll have a nice work week, 5 days a week, you know, 8 to 10 hours a day. We'll put you up in a house or whatever. But this is what we need to do. This is how we bring our manufacturing back, so we don't have to rely on the Chinese so much. We can't trust those guys. And then as far as women go, women are going to be in the house making sandwiches and obviously making food. Because I think feminism was one of the biggest lies that's created a lot of problems for us, where as women have become more and more liberated, we've seen relationships and marriage rates and the nuclear family just tumble alongside it. So, and I'm kidding around quite a bit about some of that, right? Being hyperbolic. But I do think that women should be focusing on finding a guy and getting married in their peak years, not being whores.
So in your ideal America, would it be a diverse America? Would we have people of all different races, or would it just be the people that you deem acceptable?
I'm big on competency, but I also think that mass immigration is a problem. So we'd obviously, that's another thing I would do, is I would significantly limit immigration. we'd have ICE out there arresting people all over the place. We wouldn't pull out like Trump did out of Minneapolis. That was extremely cowardly. Should have never done that, because all you're doing now is emboldening these progressives to fight against ICE and immigration enforcement more. So that's what I would focus on.
So when you're saying competency, how do you decide that? Is it just because IQ is a very flawed metric? That's not proven by anything.
Well, obviously, it's just a component of
Sorry.
competency, right? Like if you're not the smartest guy, but you're a hard worker, you could probably get ahead. Or you can increase your intelligence as well, right? There's people out there that might not be like, naturally super high IQ, but they can work their way towards becoming more competent, becoming more intelligent. It's a little bit harder, but it could be done.
So when you're talking about competency, is it just competency in one aspect? What if there's a guy that's really good at jumping? There's a guy that's really good at jumping, but he's not smart in any other aspect. Is that competent enough for you, or does he deserve to be a slave?
If he's black, he'll be a slave. No, I'm just kidding. Again, in what metric are you asking though? Like if he could jump high? I mean, he could be an athlete or something.
Let's say he's an Olympic world athlete.
Bam, there you go. That's his job.
But what if
you
he-
represent the country as an Olympian?
But where's the baseline? What if he's top 50? Is that
It would be
not good
based
enough?
off of other people, like everything in life. It's based off
where's
of
your
competition.
baseline? Top 50, top 100, whatever
It
you deem
depends.
acceptable.
It depends on what the cutoff is, what the sport is. Every sport is different. Obviously, every team is different. It completely depends on the team or the sport.
So you talk a lot about slavery. Do you have a BDSM kink?
Bro, really bought into that, huh?
Do you have a BDSM kink?
No.
Because it seems like you like being in chattel. Seems like something you would
Being
really
what?
enjoy. You would like being tied up, is what you're saying.
That's a strange thing to say. I don't know what you're
I think
imagining
you
right
would.
now, but that's fine.
I think we're both imagining the same thing.
Yeah, that was a weird question to ask.
I think.
Somebody pat this guy down before he, you know what I mean?
Ooh, you would like that.
Yeah.
No,
not
over
me,
here.
someone else.
Come over here and pat me down.
Oh, this guy's weird.
Yeah. Pussy. And okay, I don't want to take up any more of your time. Go Gators.
Fantastic. Who's up next?
Hey, what's up? I've been watching Fresh and Fit for a while now. I'm not gonna lie. So my question is, it's not about specifically about women, but you said that Indian people are the biological weapons of the Jews. Could you explain that?
Say that again?
You said that Indian people are the biological weapons of the Jews. Can you explain that?
Oh, when I said Indians are the biological weapon of the Jews?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So because it's typically always been Jews that push mass migration. And then the next thing you know, we got a bunch of Jeets in the country. Thank you, come again. So yeah, that's why I say that, because they've been, when it comes to like liberalism and progressivism in general, Jews have pretty much always been at the forefront of it, whether it's feminism, communism, Marxism, etc., mass immigration. They've been the ones that really facilitate a lot of that, right? So now my thing when it comes to immigration is like, look, if you have a skill set that we can't easily replace here, then I understand. But the problem is that our immigration system has been exploited for so long, and there's so many loopholes in it, that I can't even imagine to like.
So can I explain my take in a sense?
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
So I was born here. I was raised here all my life. I'm born an Indian immigrant parent, but I'll never say I'm Indian. Never say I'm Indian American. I take on the Theodore Roosevelt viewpoint of being hyphens. I see hyphens as being very divisive. I'm always say I'm American. I'm always proud to be an American. I'll do antiques for the nation any time of the week. But my thing was that I think that in order to maintain America at the competitive place, because we're always in constant competition with China, India, Russia, and in order to maintain, we need to extract talent from outside the world. So my question to you is that what are your thoughts on H-1Bs?
Scam visa utilized to get cheap labor and get shortcuts. We can definitely give those jobs to graduating students here, Americans, versus giving those jobs to foreigners.
But would you want the best in the world from other places in the world in order to
The
maintain
H-1B visa isn't necessarily a skill set visa. Like that's a skill set visa would be something like an O visa, right, for like an exceptional talent. The H-1B is just, I'll just be very blunt about it. It's a visa to bring in a bunch of Indians. That's what it is for tech companies, right? This actually got me banned on Twitter because, like I said, that the H-1B visa is a scam to bring Indians in for tech jobs. And Elon Musk is a bitch, so he ended up like fucking taking my blue check away. But it's the truth, man. It's a visa that's been exploited for a very long time. F1 visas also get exploited all the time. Someone will sign up for like some language school, never show up to classes, just use it to get into the country. So our entire immigration system is getting exploited in so many different ways.
So my one last question. Everyone said that Indian people smell bad, and I try my hardest not to. I put deodorant on. I shower like twice a day.
Nice.
I try my hardest, not gonna lie. So
Yes, WG. WG,
Thank you
baby.
so much. I'll see you later.
No worries, man.
Hello, Myron.
Yo, what's up, man?
So, I'm going to make a very bold claim, and I want you to know what you think of it. Okay? I think, for better or worse, Bibi Netanyahu is a great man of 21st century history.
Okay. Why do you think so?
Let's hold the booing.
That's cool. Why do you think so?
Well, because look at him, even if regardless of what you think of Israel, right? I think from a Nietzschean, Faustian perspective, I mean, he's literally embodying what being a Faustian Ubermensch is about. He liquidated Hezbollah, the pager thing. He had all the traffic camera in Iran. The most powerful country in the world is completely doing his bidding. So he doesn't care about international law. He doesn't care about rules-based world order. So, wouldn't you agree, from a Faustian Nietzschean perspective, he's pretty dope?
No, interestingly enough, I was talking about this on stream. The Israelis have probably one of the best intelligence services in the world.
Yeah.
And you can make the argument that they're even better than the CIA because the Israelis don't have the same red tape that the CIA has. They can do all kinds of crazy stuff.
Yeah.
So you got to give him credit there. And he's obviously a good politician. The dude is wanted as a war criminal. He's still flying all over the place, not getting arrested.
He doesn't care about rules-based world order.
He doesn't
care about all the the boundaries that are binding the the normies.
Yeah, you don't get to that level, And he's also every time he does an interview, he's always able to take Israel's problems and make it also a U.S. problem. He's really good at doing that. I mean, he's been doing it for 30 plus years.
Yeah,
so,
and I think he mocks.
He's a good politician.
I think he mocks Trump, Putin, Xi, all of these people combined in this way. I mean.
He's definitely a good politician, but the guy's a criminal and obviously has a lot of blood on his hands.
Yeah, but from a Faustian perspective, it is kind of dope.
I mean, you can make that argument.
Yeah, sure. Thank you.
No worries.
Hey, Myron. My name's Aaron. I'm 19 years old. I came from Orlando to see you today. Shout out to
Nice.
O. Shout out to O. It's my hometown, or at least it was until it turned into Rio. Unfortunately, I don't have any. I was listening to your breakdown on the war on the drive here as well. Unfortunately, I don't have any big disagreement, so I'm not going to try to waste too much time. I agree with 90 to 95% of what you say. If anybody tries to do the shut it down, the 10% is what you disagree with. I've been a fan of you and let's say the Avengers since 2022 with, the Avengers initial
I know
rise of
exactly
AT.
what you're talking about, yeah.
I'm completely okay with you guys booing, by the way. He's way more successful than all of you, and your opinion is kind of weighted differently in my mind.
It's all good, man. I don't mind. I think some of the ladies that were talking smack in the back have to come up on the mic and show us what feminism is.
Yeah. So I always listened to you guys and understood deep down. I believed what you guys said, especially about dating and the vetting process, but I didn't have the balls to apply it to my own life. And a few months ago, I got absolutely wrecked for it. I got completely swindled and manipulated by the first girl that tried. And that was a real wake-up call for me. I completely learned my lesson. So I just want to say to all the people watching at home, if you're like me and you're watching all these guys, you listen to what they say, you understand it. If you're not taking their advice and applying it to your own life, it's not doing you any good. Because I'm not that good at improv and I don't want to sound stupid.
You're good, man. Take your time.
But now I'm chasing money, status. Myron, I'd love to talk with you about more today, but it's not a big deal to me because once I achieve the status I'm after, I'm going to come down to Miami. We're going to have a much longer talk on your podcast. We're going to talk about other issues. We're going to talk about dating. We're going to talk about geopolitics, and we're going to talk about some 304s as well.
Nice. And don't worry, I'll be a stick around after for pictures and stuff for you
Of
guys,
course,
so don't
of
worry.
course.
Yeah, I'm not Hollywood. Who's up next? Thank you for that, bro. Appreciate that greatly. Future of America right there. Smarter than I was at 19. All right, let's get a disagreement. We have a lot of hecklers in the back. Okay, come on up if you have a disagreement. I always find it interesting how hecklers will say stuff in the back, you're ugly. And they're like, all right, well, come on the mic. Oh. So, okay, what's up, man?
What's up, Myron? My name is Jerome Felix. I'm a sophomore aerospace engineering student here at the University of Florida. And I actually grew up watching your content in high school.
Okay.
And at first, I did love your content. However, as I progressed through my years of development, especially as a man, I felt like you weren't painting the best picture in terms of what it means to actually be a man and what it actually means to be a good man, and also what it means to be a good woman. For instance, I feel like a lot of your podcasts are, you're showcasing the bad sides of what a woman is, but you're also not showcasing what it means to actually what a good woman actually looks like. So and I also don't think that you give like a great representation of what it means to actually be a good man in terms of character, in terms of how you actually like show up in the world, just beyond like actual work ethic. And so I think in terms of your overall goals, I think it would actually serve us best if you didn't just give us like something to run away from, but also something to actually run towards for all of the people that watch your content. And I feel like that's something that maybe you could do better. Maybe it's your platform, obviously. Maybe I'm tripping, but in my eyes, as someone who did watch your content, I don't think you complete the picture of women and men and how they actually function in society.
Okay. How did you consume it mostly when you would watch? Like what platform?
Mostly, it was the YouTube podcast. Mostly
YouTube.
Yeah.
Okay. So. Because that's a little weird, because we have like a whole show called Money Monday where we teach guys how to get their credit up, make money. Yeah. We have Womanizer Wednesday where we teach guys how to vet women properly, how to be a protector, provider, etc. We're real big on gender norms. So I don't know if you've like watched everything or you've seen everything. Keep in mind that we do different types of shows, because that just doesn't make sense with what you're saying. Because like we've absolutely covered a lot of those topics that you're mentioning or being critical of to help guys out with getting their money on point. Because I've been very realistic that, women's standards have went up thanks to feminism, right? Mm-hmm. You got to earn more money as a guy. You got to be more competent. It's more competitive now than ever before for men, since women make their own money. Yeah. So we've given a solution to that, and the solution is to simply just you can't be an average guy anymore. Yeah. So I don't know. Maybe you didn't see it. Maybe because most people watch the clips and the after hours when we're doing debates. But we do a daytime show where we talk about self-improvement. So maybe you missed that.
I probably did, but I do think like most of your content, at least what it looks like, is just showing the bad and not showing the good. And
well, keep in mind, people clip my stuff all the time.
Yeah.
And that's not me. They just clip it because it's viral, and they always clip the drama. They don't clip the other stuff.
Yeah, I've also like sat through your podcast and everything, but I do think instead of like targeting like women deserve less, I think you should push even more how men should do more, because most of the things that are happening in society are like this is a man-run society. Us as men, as leaders, we dictate how a lot of these things actually go down, and so I feel like it's like the downfall of Adam and Eve, right? It's
Adam. So here's the problem.
Yeah.
What you're saying is what we always tell men, right? Yeah. So we put like no burner performance on the female side. Mm-hmm. So if I sit here and I'm like, yeah, guys, you got to do better. I say that all the time on my show anyway. Yeah. But what's a bit more polarizing and gets people's attention to actually understand the problem is, hey, you guys need to stop being simps. Yeah. Because the problem is that a lot of guys chronically undervalue themselves while women chronically overvalue themselves. Yeah. You talk to any girl, what do you rate yourself 1 out of 10? She's going to say like an 11. Mm-hmm. So a lot of women have an extremely narcissistic and solipsistic mindset thanks to social media, the progression of the internet, etc. So I'm reframing it so guys understand, look, when you deal with women, you need to date from a defensive perspective, and you have to come in and make her earn things. Because what most guys do is kind of what you're saying, like just rise up and be a gentleman and treat her really well. And it's not 1956, it's 2026. And women have changed a lot. So guys need to deal with the new normal.
Yeah, I'm not saying like be a simp, but I'm saying be a leader. And being a simp and being a leader as a man are completely different things. And I feel like when you put
being a leader is also making a woman pass her compliance tests and not giving her everything up front.
Yeah.
Because that's the issue, is like we don't really teach young guys how to properly vet women to not, because a lot of guys give everything up immediately. Like they start courting her immediately. They start treating her like a princess immediately. And I'm saying you don't do that, because getting put into being a nice guy never gets you ahead.
Yeah, but like in terms, like on your sign right there, it says women deserve less.
Yes.
Why not have your campaign be like men should do more in terms of...
Because we tell young men that every single day. So here's the difference. Men, every time they wake up, when they interact with the world world reflects back where they stand. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So if you're a loser, right, you're fat, whatever, your experiences represent that. No one respects you. Girls don't want to talk to you. People look at you weird. You don't get social interactions. You don't get opportunities. So men have to deal with the reality of their inadequacies. Women don't. You could be a fat ass bitch, look like crap, have no future, smoke weed every day, but be on a boat with future. Like that's the difference. So I'm trying to teach guys that you need to make women comply to you, and you have to make them earn you. The problem is that we're so willing to simp for girls that quite frankly don't deserve it, and that's a very backwards approach, and it simply doesn't work. Being a nice guy has never worked.
Okay, gotcha. Thank you for your time, man.
No worries.
Have a good one.
No problem. Who's up next? Any feminists or anybody else? What's up?
Yo.
Yo.
All right, I haven't seen much of your content before, so I've kind of had to have my crowd fill me in a little bit on what you're talking about and what I've heard thus far. And it seems like you think it's very difficult a lot of times to date women, right? Like there's a whole...
To do what? To date?
Date, fuck, whatever you're trying to do, right? Like
yeah.
You have your Womanizer Wednesday podcast. And you're saying how, if I'm understanding you correctly... men need to stop putting so much effort into trying to attract women and simping after them.
Well, it's about making her earn her keep.
Right.
You know, and I don't think enough guys put women through their paces to do that, and that's very counterproductive.
So generally, you're just trying to advocate not.
I'm sorry?
Putting yourself through as much effort, right? Talk closer to it.
You're
Okay.
You're kind of mumbling, man. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
what was
you're
that?
good, bro. But you're trying to advocate just being more of yourself, I guess, and focusing on yourself and letting women come to you, right?
Well, even being yourself might not necessarily work, right? Because some guys, if they just be themselves, that's like very generic advice. Like, maybe you're boring, maybe you're a bit too analytical, you're autistic or whatever. I think men should obviously be as successful as they can be and also learn, good communication skills, learn how to be, use sarcasm intelligently, make jokes, be charismatic, be able to command a room, be able to speak in the active voice versus the passive voice. These are all skill sets that guys need to learn to really, and it doesn't just help you with women. It helps you like in the boardroom. It helps you in your work. It makes you more likable.
And you think guys in general are better at training those things rather than women who don't always have to?
They're better at what?
Training those aspects, right? Becoming better at communication.
Well, the thing is that men have to figure this out, and if they don't, they're gonna, there's gonna be consequences, reproductive consequences.
Oh, reproductive consequences. So ultimately, if you think that guys have to be so much better at this and they tend to put a lot more like proper effort into their relationships with other men, why would you not just date a femboy, bro?
Can you
like
speak
we've
up, man?
seen the
You're
grinder
mumbling
pics,
quite a bit. Can we turn up?
We've
this thing?
seen the grinder pics, bro. There's the fucking leaks, bro.
You see what?
Literally, I was about to go on like the conversation a second ago, and some guy literally pulled out his phone. He's like, "Oh shit, here's your fucking here's this fucking grinder profile." I'm like, "Are you serious?"
Grinder?
Bro, you act like you don't know what it is. Literally crashed the RNC. There's pics of you cuddled up with another guy, bro. Like if you just admit it, bro. I say it's pretty great, bro.
Oh, okay. I know what you're talking about. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, well, actually, we're here at a big sports school. So I went to Northeastern. I was a Division I athlete. That photo was taken when I was on a training trip. Actually, funny enough, here in Florida, and obviously it's cold in Boston. So we had a training trip, and I was never a morning person. So what happened was before practice, they broke into my hotel room and woke me up. Right, typical shit that athletes do. And that's when that picture was taken. So they were fucking with me to wake me up for practice. That's where that picture was taken.
You didn't even try sticking it in or nothing?
No, I didn't.
Darn it. You should try it.
Okay. Interesting. Who's up next?
You had him on your show recently. What are your thoughts on James Fishback?
He's cool. It's cool.
That's all. I agree with everything you say, so I'm just
yeah,
wondering
no,
what you
I
think
like
about it.
Fishback. He's cool.
Okay. Oh, that's all.
No worries. I support any politician that doesn't take AIPAC money or Jewish lobby money. So that's very hard to do.
Hi, I just have a few questions for you. My first one, I just want to ask why you go by Myron instead of Amru.
Sure. So before I started this internet stuff, I was a special agent with Homeland Security Investigations. I did, a lot of high-profile cases. And since I have a unique name, you would be able to look up cases that I did on Pacer, which is like the federal database that shows all the criminal complaints and indictments and shit like that. So since I had a unique name and I was the affiant on a lot of cases, I was when I started doing my fitness business, which eventually turned into YouTube and everything else like that, I use a stage name. And then after I resigned from the government, the stage name just stuck. So I never, people say all the time, oh, you changed your government name. No, it's still the same. I never changed it. But that is why I used a different name, and it just kind of stuck on.
Okay, yeah, that makes a little sense. I just feel like most people would probably revert back to their real name when going online.
Yeah,
I
because
understand
people
why-
never care about the truth, right? They try to come in and say you changed their name when I never did.
Well, I mean, for a person like you whose personality is mainly online, changing your name is just going by a different name. The government papers don't matter too much, I feel like. But anyways, I'll move on to my next question. It's kind of just a statement that I'd like from you. I wonder because I know you're a Sudanese man, a black Sudanese man. I'm wondering why you bring so much more attention proportionally to the conflicts in Gaza and then the women's rights instead of focusing on the genocide that's taking place in Sudan. I feel like as a Sudanese man, you might have a responsibility since you have a platform.
You know,
to
it's
speak up
interesting that
more
you
on
say that because I've talked about it many times. You might not watch my show. I've already discussed Sudan many different times. I've talked about Hemeti. I've talked about the civil war going on.
So could
I've
I just
talked about
get
it
your
in detail
Could I just get your opinions on that really quick?
on what's going on in Sudan?
Yeah.
It's horrible. And I've talked about how the UAE is supplying it, and obviously, Hemeti's been kind of raping the country with the gold, and selling it to the Russians and other people as well. But yeah, no, it's horrible, dude. It's horrible. I've definitely talked about it. I don't know if you watch my show or not, but I've done it multiple times.
Too much, to be honest, so I can't
All right,
speak
that's
on
fine.
that. I know you mostly focus on more controversial conflicts, which I feel like makes sense because it draws the views and everything. But
Well, I mean, I cover it all, man. I do, political commentary, so that's obviously going to come in.
Oh yeah, that's all I needed though. Thank you.
No worries. Who's up next?
All right, so if you think about your fan base and the kinds of guys that would resonate with your videos, right? Like they are watching content that's hating on women. These are usually guys that are super antisocial, probably are never even forming these interpersonal relationships with women. Don't you think that by them watching your content, listening to your ideologies, they then fall further into just being a chud and an incel? Like, I don't see any reality in which a guy is watching your videos because he's like, I'm a guy, I want to talk to girls, I want to figure myself out, and then actually succeeding by listening to what you're saying. If anything, it would only further ostracize them because everyone sees them as a weirdo.
Have you watched the show before?
I've seen some of your clips.
Okay, so you've seen some clips. You might have not seen all the clips of the people that call into the show and say, hey, you helped me triple my income. Hey, you helped me become a millionaire. Hey, you helped me start a side business, whatever. And obviously
Do you think that's the majority?
That's a lot of them, dude. Yeah, a lot. Because again, remember, we have a daytime show where we talk about, how to make money, how to start a business, how to improve your credit, how to buy your first real estate property. We talk about all that stuff. So, but obviously none of that goes viral because self-improvement isn't necessarily, as entertaining or viral for clips and shorts. But we've talked about all that. And this is my philosophy. I tell guys that you need to become the best version of yourself because unfortunately women don't want normal guys anymore. So that's why I tell dudes they need to get in a certain position before they even bother with women.
And speaking of self-improvement, have you tried bone smashing?
No, I haven't.
Are you boys with clavicular, or like do you adhere to his
clav is
beliefs? Okay.
Clav is cool. Yeah.
All right. Last thing, Free Palestine. Wondering if you have any thoughts on that.
About what's going on in
the statement
Palestine?
of Free Palestine, from the river to the sea, Palestine should be free.
I agree.
Very well. Thank you.
Yeah, I agree. I'm not a fan of Israel at all. Who's up next?
Hey, I just have a question. I want to know your opinion about it. What do you think is the most physically demanding sport?
Cross-country skiing, rowing, and boxing, probably.
You don't think hockey?
Hockey's pretty hard, too. But I would say, like, if we're talking, like, just straight physicality and endurance, cross-country skiers, rowers, and boxers.
Would you say endurance is a big factor for...
For all three of those sports, yeah. Huge.
Really?
Yeah, they have high VO2 maxes, incredible aerobic capacity, lung capacity.
Okay.
So that's what I would say.
Okay.
If we're just talking straight physicality, skill set is different. But if we're just talking straight physicality, I would argue those three are probably in the top three.
How about what sport has the biggest skill set?
What was that?
Biggest skill set sport?
You can make the argument basketball, hockey, because you're doing multiple things at once, dribbling a basketball, moving around with a puck. Soccer, right? Because obviously soccer is a lot of endurance too, and you're limited to only your feet. So, and it's also very endurance based.
Okay.
So.
Okay, that's all I wanted to know. Thank
All
you.
right, cool. Yeah, no worries.
Yeah. So why is it that when you mention not supporting Israel, you show hatred towards Jews? Because there are many Jews that support Palestine, and I don't understand why you just rage bait people by mentioning not liking Jews. It makes no sense.
Well, yeah, I mean, some of the most outspoken and most important voices in the movement actually are Jewish, right? You look at someone like, Dave Smith, Norman Finkelstein, several others, that are Jewish, but they call out the bullshit. Aaron Mate. So of course, obviously, it's not all Jews, but it tends to be almost always Jews, though, but not all of them.
So why did you say screw the Jews after you said free Palestine? That's just
You didn't hear I'm just fucking around after, like sarcasm, hyperbole,
yeah,
etc.
Yeah, sure.
What's going on, Myron?
Yo, nice shirt, man.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
All right, I got a few questions for you.
Yeah.
Would you ever sell out to the Mossad?
Would I ever?
Yeah.
I already did. They paid me $7,000.
Oh shit, that's it.
I'm just fucking with you, dude.
All
yeah, some
right.
people don't get my sarcasm. Yeah, no, but I mean, I can never go to Israel. I know that for a fact.
Oh yeah.
I'll get.
Was that real? What they put on the missile?
Yeah,
That
they
was
put
real?
my name on a missile and said Myron Gaines on it.
Yeah. All right.
They've done it for like me, Sneeko, Nick Fuentes. They put all of our names on missiles. Like that's how you know you're like getting pretty known is when they put your name on a missile that they're gonna drop on kids.
Yeah, when they come after you.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. All right. What do you think about the banking system? Is that why you think we're in Iran right now?
The reason why we're in Iran is because Jews run America, Zionist Jews mostly. This war offers zero strategic benefit to the United States. And there's a multitude of reasons why it's a bad move, but without putting everybody here to sleep with geopolitical affairs, this war was a catastrophic mistake by the Trump administration.
Yeah, 100%. All right. Next question. How do you stay motivated to talk to the 304s on your podcast when they don't bring any strong points?
I'm glad that you asked that, right? For those of you guys that don't know, I do a show I do my political commentary show, and I do, obviously, Fresh&Fit daytime show, self-improvement, then we do a nighttime show called After Hours, where we bring girls on the show, we debate different topics. And at this point, I've talked to almost 4,000 different women from different walks of life, different ages, different educations, different professions, different parts of the world. And though it is frustrating debating with women because they tend to operate on the feels versus the reals, I understand that it's a necessary evil so that men can understand some of the inherent differences between men and women. And a lot of the times it tends to be, like women just aren't logically sound or fact-based. Now, is this all of them? Of course not. Yeah. But I've noticed that it's a lot of them, regardless of education level or background for that matter. So, and it wakes a lot of guys up.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely teaching a lot to avoid those kind of girls in the future, not marrying them, not having kids with them.
Yeah.
So I definitely agree with the podcast.
I tell every guy, you need a girl that's going to obey you and submit to you.
Yeah.
That's how it goes. Like, there's no such thing as an equal partnership. That's a bunch of nonsense, baloney bullshit. Mm-hmm. Because last time I checked, women don't want an equal partner. She wants him taller, stronger, more muscular, more competent, more money. So it's like, she doesn't want equality at all. They'll say that, but that's not what they're actually looking for. What they say and what they respond to are two different things.
Yeah, and I think the podcast proves that.
Yeah.
Yeah, when they're
Appreciate
talking.
that, my friend.
Of course. And then last question, do you think the Western women completely are cooked because of feminism?
Almost.
Yeah.
Almost, I'll be honest. I mean, are there some girls that still come from good households with a strong father, and strong masculine presence? Sure. But it's pretty tough out here, man. It's pretty tough out here.
Yeah. I've definitely fell victim. I had a kid with one.
Ooh.
And yeah, it's definitely brought a lot of reality to what you talk about. And it's not till you actually, marry one or have kids with one when you actually wake up to what you're saying.
Yeah, and that's why I was kind of trying to establish. The young guy earlier was like, "Oh, me and my girlfriend are equal, blah blah," and I'm like, "Dude,
He doesn't
like
know
you're
shit.
not. You have no clue. Like, having, and the other thing too, like for all you guys that have like a relationship in college, like college isn't real, guys, right? Like the 4 years that you're here, like this is kind of like a astroturfed environment. It's not the real world. So like once you get out of college and you're out there in the real world, and she's out there in the real world, things are going to change significantly. And if she surpasses you or makes as much money as you or whatever, like there is a good likelihood that she might end up leaving you because women are hypergamous. So I think guys need to be prepared for that they need to be the breadwinner and be the leader, right? Women don't want a guy that's equal to them, despite what they might say.
100%. Yep. They're just pretty much placeholder boyfriends at that point.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. Love you, dude.
All right.
Love
Thank
your
you, man. I
content.
appreciate
Yes,
you.
sir. Of course.
Thank you so much. Let her go, because we haven't had a girl up yet. Go ahead. Let her go first. Ladies first, right? Yeah, now you guys can't call me a misogynist. You see that? Now you guys can't call me a misogynist. What's up?
Hello.
Hi.
I just have a question about what do you think women should be doing if you do believe that we are supposed to be submissive and following a role of the husband, which I do believe in Catholicism, having the man as a leader. But I do believe in having an education, which is why I'm here at the University of Florida. And so I just want your opinions on that.
So I understand that we live in a different world. I understand that inflation is high, cost of living is high. You need a dual income a lot of the times to make it. But what I say is, like, I think women should be prioritizing a family and finding a guy over school. I'm not saying, like, don't go to school at all, but I think that women put way too much of an emphasis on education, traveling, being a whore, partying, you know, and having their fun, right? Girls just want to have fun. There's a reason why that song was a hit song since the 1980s, etc. And men are like a distant, like 6th or 7th place. Like in my first book, I talk about this. Like most women, when you ask them, like, hey, peg your priorities, like men in a relationship and marriage is like 6th, 7th place. And it's only until women get older that they start to change their priorities. But by then, a lot of the times, they're not in a commanding space to get a certain caliber of guy anymore, right? If you're a 30-year-old woman, right, who's dated around, make $100,000 a year, etc., you're not going to be the same as a guy that makes $100,000 a year that's 30 years old, right? Like men respond to different things than women do, and I think one of the biggest lies we tell women is that, like, getting a career, getting an education is going to be the path to finding a guy, and quite frankly, it actually hurts you by doing that.
Well, I still believe in getting an education, but there is over 50% of marriages that do get divorced. So when it comes to those situations and you have single mothers, most of the time, I mean, you have single mothers and alimony, which is not guaranteed. So during that time, should a woman be
Well, also
working?
keep in mind, who initiates a divorce 80% of the time?
Women.
It's the women. So, you know, and this is what I'm trying to say, like, this is why feminism is so pernicious, because it incentivizes women to marry you and then divorce you. Because if you look at it, the man in a relationship is supposed to, like, provide, you know, provisioning, protection, etc., right? All these different things. And the woman's supposed to provide sexual access. If you get divorced, you are still on the hook for those responsibilities while she's not. So it's a completely rigged system, which is why I tell guys, like, don't get married with the state. Puts you in a very bad spot, especially if you're a higher earner. Because what ends up happening is women become incentivized to divorce you and take your resources. They transfer the wealth from the state to her. And if you don't comply, you go to jail.
But in the belief, if you do believe in the sacrament of marriage, like in Catholicism, then you wouldn't believe in divorce and you'd believe in seeking resources instead.
Yeah, that's an ideal situation, but women always reserve the right to be Christian and Catholic until they're not happy anymore in the relationship, and then they you know, become secular for a couple months, initiate the divorce, then they go back. You know what I mean? So divorce is heavily incentivized in our society. And there's an entire industry behind it. We're talking about family court lawyers, judges, court systems. You know, it's a billion-dollar industry.
And what would you propose that your solution to divorce is, if there's so many men that do sleep around and then have that habit going into marriage?
Well, my suggestion is that guys have to understand female nature and pick the right one, and, you know, date meticulously and vet women, you know, almost to an excruciating detail point, to make sure that she's not going to come in and fuck your life up. Because we have way more to lose than women do.
Thank you.
No problem. Good questions.
Yo, Myron, what's your view on DEI?
Stupid.
Then why do you still have that black fella on your podcast, Coconuts?
Funny joke. Well, I started the podcast with Fresh, and I'm going to end it with Fresh. I don't leave my people behind.
All right. And I also wanted to talk about a more topical subject about Epstein, Israel, and Jewish influence in the United States.
Sure.
I'm sorry?
Sure.
What is your, like, how do you think that Jeffrey Epstein got his position in Bear Stearns at such a young age with little experience?
Nepotism and being Jewish.
Did it have anything to do with Israeli intelligence?
I think at this point it's pretty much confirmed that he was Israeli intelligence.
I think it's interesting because you've talked about a lot of podcasts about chartdojo.io, and you've talked about, like, all these things and how it's such a useful tool for traders. Don't you think that he could have used that to get into his experience?
Use what?
Chartdojo.io.
I don't know what that is.
You've talked about on several podcasts, Maton's podcast, Abraham's Exchange. You talked about it with Luke Belmar.
Wait, it's called what?
Chartdojo.io.
Chart.
You've talked about it all the time, the back testing trading subject, where it provides you real AI analysis based on real trades.
Okay, I've never.
You've talked about it all the time?
This guy's trying to promote. Yeah, no, dude, I don't even know what you're talking about.
Are you sure?
I don't recall what you're talking about.
But
AI
you've talked about it
trading?
multiple times. You said you support it. You, Fresh, Luke Belmar.
AI trading?
Yeah. Back testing trading simulator that provides real AI analysis on your trades on real historical market data.
No.
You've talked about it all the time.
I never have, dude. I don't know what you're talking about.
The ASU frat leader profit mocked clavicular because he used it.
All right. This guy just, yeah, I don't know what he's talking about, but that's fine.
Thank you. Shukran.
All right. That was strange.
Thank you.
Yeah, someone said LAD in the back. It's all good, man. Hi.
Hi. So you think women
He's probably
deserve
Jewish,
less?
chat. Leave him alone.
So you
What's
think
up?
women deserve
Real
less?
life chat.
So background, I've been enlisted in the military. I'm in ROTC right now.
Okay.
Why do you think a woman in the military is any less than a man except for physical aspects? First of all. Second of all, 75% of healthcare support workers are women. What are you going to do if all those women start going home and making sandwiches and that's all they do? What is your economy going to do? What is your military going to do? Think about it. Like, actually think about that. Tell me about that.
You're in the American military?
Yes.
Oh, God. Okay. Because you have an accent, so I wasn't sure if you're like, are you like dual citizen?
Yeah.
What country?
Britain. And I'm also a Zionist Jew.
Oh,
So
fantastic.
you think I have loyalty to Israel? What about to America? What about to Britain that I would proudly serve and die for?
Well, first and foremost, I think having dual citizens in the armed forces is a big L. That's not good. And then number two, the reason why I don't think women should serve in combat positions is because women are physically inferior to men in every way.
What
And I
about all
think
the
it weakens-
non-combat positions? Think
was
about that.
What was that?
Non-combat positions. The army's not just grunts.
Of course, that's why I said combat positions. They shouldn't be in the front lines because I'd
That's
be pissed
fine.
off if I was in the infantry and I had a woman in my squad that can't even drag me to safety. You're only as strong as your weakest component. And,
Okay,
you know,
bar that. What happens if all the women go home and they just like making babies all the time and in the kitchen making sandwiches?
we'd have a
What
way
about
better society.
healthcare?
We'd have a
What
way
about
better
the
society.
economy? Almost 47% of the workforce is women. So
Yeah,
after they
that's-
all go home,
Yeah.
what happens to your economy?
It would be better.
You think it would be better?
Yeah. Yeah. You guys would be making sandwiches and we'd have nuclear families and the men can work and, you know, do what they're supposed to do.
It's
and
2026. We have dual income households that can still barely get by.
Yep. And this is why feminism is a huge problem.
So you're blaming feminism for that?
Yeah. It's led to a lot of problems.
Not
yeah.
the economy, not like Republican governors, not the government, tariffs, not Trump
Well,
doing
that's
all
another
that.
problem. Like women have the right to
Definitely not
vote.
that.
I think we should take the 19th away too.
That's
I think we
crazy.
need to repeal the 19th as well. Oh, they get triggered and just walk away. Okay. Shout out to Israel.
Okay.
That's nuts that we have dual citizen people in our armed forces. That's crazy.
Hi, Myron.
Yo.
So you've been talking a lot about all the problems with women and all the harm they've been doing to men. But
Well,
I think
feminism.
With feminism. But I think
That includes
like,
both men and women.
Lots of women are being exploited and victimized by men. So I just wanted to know, do you stand in solidarity with fellow UF student and American patriot Maddie Kowalski?
I don't know who that is, but that's
Tragic.
you?
Maddie Kowalski is a great person.
Okay. I'm assuming that's probably you or something.
She was victimized and had videos leaked against her will on this campus.
I'm not familiar with the story.
Very sorry. Thank you, Myron.
No worries.
Yo, what's up?
Yo.
What makes you think that someone is worth something? What makes someone worth something? If you, no, I'm done.
Yeah, can you be a bit more specific? That's a very broad.
What traits of a person or qualities makes them worth something? You like to say that women are worth less, so you must know what makes someone worth something.
A girl that's not a slut?
Wow, that was so philosophical, bro. come on.
Yeah, it's
bro.
pretty straightforward.
Any woman with
simple.
self-respect would never talk to you, bro. So tell me, why, what makes you think that women deserve less, bro? And I know so many great women with pride, self-respect, morality. Bro, what type of woman do you talk to on the daily basis? What are the women that you attract that you talk to? What type of woman are they? Not saying that there's anything wrong with OnlyFans girls. There's
a lot wrong with them.
They may lack some self-respect. That doesn't make them worthless. They may feel like they're worth less and less, but that doesn't make them worth less, bro. But those are the women you talk to that feel like they are worth less. You've never talked to an actual great woman in your life with pride, with humanity, with dignity. You have no idea what those words even mean, bro, because you don't convey it. You don't express it. You are hurting these women, and you don't care. What do you think of morality, bro? Is morality an important trait? To be moral and compassionate and empathetic, is that important?
Damn, this guy's really trying to get laid tonight. Okay. Yeah, so here's the thing, dude. Men and women are different, okay? Girls that are sluts are not respected because it's easy. Guys that are capable of being sluts are respected because it's hard. It's not easy for guys to attract women, but it's very easy for women to attract men. It's just very simple. So the barrier to entry is low, so therefore it's not respected. As far as like, go ahead.
You didn't answer my question. I'm asking about morality. Do you believe morality and empathy and compassion are important things in this world?
Well, you can be polite to girls that are 304s, but that doesn't mean you have to date them.
Dog, nothing you say is polite. You disrespect their humanity in every way. That is
For telling the truth? If you do OnlyFans that you're a whore?
Bro, no man who has ever been treated well by a woman would act like you. You've clearly been scarred horribly, bro, and I'm sorry. I'm so sorry that happened. Whatever happened to you, I am so sorry that it has made you that way. I would hate to live a life where I'm a shitty person, bro. That is the saddest, the darkest life possible, and I feel sorry for you, bro. You have no compassion. The things that make us human, you have none of, bro.
Besides your
You
emotional
have
arguments,
none of.
like what is your actual like? What is your actual argument?
That women have pride, dignity, humanity, and you deny them all of that. What defines dignity? Self-respect, strength, self-worth, humility. Yes, exactly.
And these are all traits that OnlyFans girls and thoughts don't have.
Yeah, the only ones you talk to, bro. That's why you don't know, because they're the only. I'm sorry, because those are the only ones that you talk to.
No, we
That's
brought
why
plenty
you
of
do
girls
not
on our
know.
show that have PhDs, master's degrees, higher education. We brought girls from all different walks of life, man.
And you, I'm sure you disrespected them, huh?
Well, a lot of them are dumb, if we're going to be honest. Not all, but a lot of them are. A lot of them lack critical thinking skills despite higher education.
All right, so you never answered my question. Women with dignity, self-respect, humility, self-worth. There's none of them. They don't exist on this planet because I know thousands. I know.
Of course they
hundreds of
exist,
them.
but they're a minority.
All right, so then some women do deserve equal as men. You just admitted it. They have dignity. Why would they deserve any less? You just admitted it.
Look, bro, like
If you want to make a
it's
generalization,
not all or nothing. Like we're speaking in generalities here.
Oh, you're
So-
speaking in generalities.
Yes,
How
this
do
is how
you-
the world works. We speak in generalities.
Yeah, you only know what's general.
There's always going to be exceptions to the rule
Talk to.
every time. But what I'm saying for the guys here is that the dating landscape has changed significantly, and guys need to prepare for the new normal. Your methodology of being a simp no longer works. Okay, like putting on the cape for women and being the nice guy and fighting for them and everything else like that. That's not respected, okay?
Regardless of whatever they lack that you think they lack, they're still human beings. So you think it's okay to hurt other human beings. That's your whole, bro, you are hurting people. I don't care whether they're women, whether they're the races that you discriminate against. You are hurting people. Do you not care that you are hurting people, bro?
The only thing I can do is tell the truth. I'm not in control of other people's feelings and how they respond to the truth.
You haven't made a single
So
philosophical
if I tell the truth,
bro, you haven't made a single philosophical argument. I'm giving you real profound philosophical arguments.
no,
and
you've just been like vomiting emotional arguments.
Bro, you're answering them with women deserve less because they're sluts. That is your argument, bro. How did you rise to fame as an intellectual? Calling a woman a slut is not an argument.
No, I'm saying men shouldn't commit to sluts.
Okay. All right, so that's your
Big
argument.
difference.
No, but you're actually saying women deserve less. So and you're saying you're making generalizations, but saying women deserve less, that doesn't sound like a fucking generalization.
It is.
woman.
When you date a girl or when you're dealing with women, you have to give them less. In today's landscape, you can't be a gentleman anymore. Chivalry is dead and women killed it.
Give me a philosophical argument as to why.
I just explained it. Women have changed. They have their own money. They have their own status. They're educated now. So a nice regular guy no longer cuts it. So men not only have to be attractive and competent and, educated and have money. They have to compete. So what I tell guys is you have to deal with the new normal because average women no longer want average men. So you must be above average.
Okay, that's...
So this is why they deserve less.
Okay, I'll respect that first part, but I don't understand how that equates to them deserving less, bro. They've elevated themselves in society. Why do they deserve less now?
Yeah, see, this rhetoric right here is a big part of the problem.
What? Bro,
Like
I think hate speech is a part of the problem.
Hate
I think
speech?
Inhumanity is a part of the problem.
It's really truth speech.
Bro,
because
you hear how your only argument is I'm speaking the truth. I give you an argument and you say, yeah, but I'm speaking the truth. That's your one argument.
Men and women are biologically different.
You just made the
and
same argument.
Here's the thing. Men and women are biologically different, and your egalitarian worldview of, pedestalizing females is just not going to work for
I'm
the
not
majority
putting
of guys.
them on a pedestal. I'm saying
you quite literally are.
I'm putting them on a pedestal compared to your terms, but I'm saying they deserve the same amount as us, bro. They are human beings.
I just told you egalitarian.
I know many great
equality
women.
doesn't work.
I know
men and
many
women.
great women, and if they have to struggle to survive to do OnlyFans, it's because men put them in that position, bro. You need some fucking historical context, bro.
Oh, man.
Yo, even if they are doing OnlyFans and even if they are wrong for it, they're still human fucking beings, bro. Treat people with fucking dignity. Have some fucking respect, bro. They're humans. All right, I'm gonna end on that.
All right. There you go. That's actually very interesting and revealing. Guys, that is why women behave the way that they do. Guys like that don't hold females accountable for their bad behavior. They act like morons. If you have something to say, you can come up to the mic instead of booing. Defend your belief system. Let the sandwich maker up. You have something you want to say? Go ahead, come up to the mic. See, terrified. They can't defend their belief systems. Okay, we'll try. Go ahead. Tell me how I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong. See, there you go.
How are you?
Go ahead, man. What's up?
What's up? I guess I'll start what can you contextualize the statement women deserve less? Like exactly what does that mean?
Why women deserve less?
No, what do you mean exactly by women deserve less?
Don't be a simp.
I need a bit more of an explanation. Like I guess women deserve less is like if you're saying, you're just bending over backwards.
It's not rocket science, man. What I'm saying is men need to be more protective of their time, energy, and money and resources and not just give it up and not just simp for a girl and put her on a pedestal because what ends up happening is you lose attraction. Women don't respond favorably to men that look at them as an equal or worse yet, a guy that pedestalizes them.
I don't think that
she should be pedestalizing you. That's when it works. She needs to be chasing your affection. You need to be the prize. And obviously, for you to become the prize, you need to get in the gym. You need to make money. You need to become competent. You need to be able to be charming, charismatic. So that's what I'm saying.
Those are all good qualities of a man to have, especially. Sure. I know you were talking with the guy before about how women have elevated, but I don't see that as a bad thing that makes them then deserve less. For example, you said, a woman
no, it's
should
absolutely
always...
why that's precisely why you have to give them less. Dude, if you saw how much attention regular girls get, if you look on if you have a female friend, ask to look at her Instagram, ask to look at her dating apps. You're gonna get red pilled immediately. You're gonna see thousands of dudes hitting them up saying she's beautiful, she's a princess. You're gonna see dudes offering to fly her out. You're gonna see dudes offering to give her Cash App, money on Cash App and Venmo. In 2026, women live a completely different reality than men do. So since women live a different reality that men do and they don't appreciate men, you must make them appreciate you because the status quo is that most women simply don't respect most men. Now, none of them are going to admit this, but it's the truth. Most guys are virtually invisible to most women.
Sure. Wouldn't better advice be to elevate as a man than to give a woman less?
That's precisely what I'm saying. You elevate and you give her less.
Okay. You know what? You also said you don't think the 19th Amendment should be a thing?
Yeah, I don't think women should vote.
Why?
Okay. Here's the thing. Do we have any women here that want to come up? I was going to ask a female a question here. Come up real fast. Okay.
What do you want?
Okay, so you think women should vote?
Yeah, and you're saying that we're less intelligent? Why?
Okay, well let me ask you this. What is a selective service?
Men are drafted over the age of 18. They're required to serve.
Fantastic. Now, do women have to enroll in it?
No, but that doesn't
That's
mean
why you
that-
guys shouldn't vote.
That doesn't mean that we can vote. We do.
Yeah, that's precisely why you guys shouldn't vote. The
Oh, so
problem
you're
here
saying-
is that women have less of a skin in the game, but have all the same privileges and rights as men. I would argue women have more rights and privileges than men with less responsibility.
What the hell did you go through, man?
All right. Well, let me get back to him and finish with him. Then you can come back up. W for knowing what the selective service is. Most women don't, and that's another privilege that women enjoy that men don't. Go ahead. Well, you can get on the mic after.
I think
just
that,
to finish what you're saying.
I think that just because, let's say, women don't have to go to war, there's a lot of different facets of, let's say, a country or whatever you're voting for, that aren't war. Like, I don't know, something as simple as picking just even picking a governor or whatever. These aren't things that have to pertain
Women
to war.
overwhelmingly vote Democrat. They overwhelmingly vote for socialist/progressive policies because women crave security. So if they don't have it through their man, they typically want it from the government. And what ends up happening is, since women, don't really understand competency and dominance hierarchies like men do, they want equality across the board, and that simply doesn't work. It's like communism. Sounds good on paper, but it doesn't really work in practice. So if we had to rely on the female vote, we would have Kamala Harris in office right now. Now, with that said, I'm not too happy with what Trump's doing either, but I still think he's a far better candidate than Kamala Harris.
But we're
would have
not relying on women. We have a society that's full of women and men, and that's why things go
But
out
that's
the
what I'm
way
trying to
that
explain
they
to
do.
you. If we relied only on the female vote, we would have Kamala Harris in office. Women overwhelmingly are the reasons why Democrats and progressives get into office. Women are overwhelmingly the reason why progressive, pernicious ideologies are pushed in society.
Progressive ideologies were pushed in society before women could vote.
But it came under the Trojan horse of feminism. Feminism was the Trojan horse, and then all the other bullshit came behind it.
Regardless, if men are the only ones voting, okay, whatever Trojan horse of feminism, it's still happening, regardless of if women are voting or not, no?
Yeah, and that's why I'm saying we need to repeal the 19th.
But it happened before the 19th.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, we need to repeal the 19th.
That's
That's
makes
my argument.
No sense. Like, if the same effect is going to happen with or without the 19th.
No, it's not going to happen. Actually, it's not.
This was happening before the 19th.
It's not, because women overwhelmingly vote Democrat. They overwhelmingly go towards more progressive/socialist candidates.
Okay, that's like saying
Now, is that all
minorities.
of them?
That's
But-
like saying minorities overwhelmingly vote Democrat. Overwhelmingly.
They do too, yeah.
Okay, so are you saying that minorities also shouldn't have the?
Well, they're a
option to
minority, so
vote?
it doesn't affect the vote as much. But with women, they're half of the population, so that does affect the voting population or the voting.
Okay, regardless, if you're saying that your argument is that women shouldn't have the opportunity to vote because just based off of how they were born, them being a woman, that they're skewing votes, they're skewing elections.
Now, here's the
same
thing:
goes with minorities.
If they serve, if they do like some type of government function or something like that, or they have like some type of skin in the game, then
Women
maybe.
are allowed to work for the
But
government.
but in general, I don't think women should have the right to vote. No.
Women are allowed to work for the government.
No, I'm saying in this example, because you're saying like, oh, why should they not have the right to vote? There would be some exceptions where if they had government service or something like that, then yes. But for the majority, I don't think women should be voting. No.
Okay, but if you're in a time period where you're not
And look,
in
if
war,
you don't agree, that's fine. Like we can agree to disagree. That's
Well, I'm
fine.
just
But
trying to break down
my
your
argument is
argument.
that my argument is very simple. Women don't have the same skin in the game in society as men do, yet they enjoy all the same benefits and privileges that men do and rights that men do. Men control the infrastructure. Men are overwhelmingly the protectors and providers, and they're the ones that secure the country. They're the ones that have the monopoly of force. And if anything does happen, men are on the hook for defending the country. So I look at it like if we can go to war, right, and the commander in chief controls that, I think the people that have the skin in the game should be the ones to vote, not the women, because they don't have the same skin in the game and can be sent to fight. That makes sense? It's just that's it. They don't have skin in the game, so.
I don't understand logically how.
It's very simple.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead.
Sorry, I just wanted to address like your argument about the Secret Service.
About what?
Oh, sorry, not the Secret Service, the Selective Service.
Sure.
So you said that women shouldn't have the right to vote because we can't get drafted. So then couldn't you argue that older people who are too old to be drafted shouldn't be able to vote either?
Well, all men have to be in the selective service.
Right, but the
Otherwise, we go to jail or get fined.
Right, but that hasn't been a thing for several decades. It's in remission right now. So wouldn't you argue that there have been people in this lifetime that have never been in a period where they would have to be drafted? So do they get the right to vote, those men?
I mean, we're literally about to go to war with Iran right now.
Right, but there is no selective draft right now.
But okay, whether there's a draft or not, men are still on the hook and have to have skin in the game.
But
actually,
currently they're not,
as a
because
matter
that
of
law
fact,
was repealed after
the
Vietnam.
fact that you're even arguing with me this way actually kind of proves the privilege that you have. So here's the difference. If a man turns 18, right? We're here at a college, right? State school. You can't get a scholarship or get financial aid unless you're in the selective service. You can't get a government job. You can't get a state job. You have certain opportunities taken away from you if you don't enter into the selective service. These are all the same things that women could do without being in the selective service.
So there actually was, I'm pretty sure there was a law that was, or bill that was proposed for women to also be drafted. If that were the case, and if it were to pass, do you think women would be able to vote then? Because now we have the same.
I wouldn't even want them in the military, to be honest with you. This is like a multi-pronged issue. Like, it's not just that they shouldn't vote. I also don't think women should be in the military in combat situations either. I think that's a man's job. That men should be doing that, not women.
Okay. I don't really know how to argue with you with that.
Well, because I got the truth on my side. Men are physically superior. So it's like
Well, women have been proven to be more intelligent on average.
most geniuses are men.
And
Most inventions were created by men. A lot of the modern conveniences you enjoy were made by men. The microphone you're using was made by a man. The stand was made by a man. All of this stuff was made by men. Women don't really contribute to the same degree as men do when it comes to infrastructure and inventions. The civilized life that you enjoy nowadays was created by men predominantly.
Well, that's because we live in a society that has favored men for a lot of time. I mean, women couldn't even enter the workforce until...
Okay, well, explain this to me. Why is it that women are overrepresented in colleges, they're overrepresented in higher education, overrepresented in graduation, yet men still control the infrastructure and still keep the world running? Despite the fact that women are more educated now than ever before, make more money. I'll tell you why. Because women choices put them in certain job fields that might not necessarily be as critical for human infrastructure. Women prefer to do jobs that deal with people, HR, firing people, saying, here's a safe space. Let's go ahead and have fun. Like, a lot of women have bullshit jobs. So it is what it is.
But I don't understand.
Not all, but a lot do.
Hold on. I'm sorry. I need to clarify something.
Sure.
So you say that women are stupid and they have bullshit jobs. But then you also say that, I'm sorry, hold on. Do you think women should be able to work?
What was that?
Do you think women should be able to work?
They shouldn't be prioritizing it.
They shouldn't be prioritizing
They
it.
should not be prioritizing it. I'm obviously a realist, and I understand that we live in an inflated world, and two incomes and things are expensive. But I don't think that women should be prioritizing it. And unfortunately, women don't prioritize a family or a man at all. They wait until their late 20s, 30s, they hit their epiphany, and then they try to find a guy. And by then, a lot of times it's too late.
Well, I would argue that that's more of a societal problem because women they have to be financially independent.
They don't have to be. They choose to be.
In this society,
And the reason why they choose to be is because, back to what I was saying, most women don't find most men attractive. So most women...
Why do you think that is?
Why?
Yes.
Well, I mean, it's always been that way, right? Something like 90% of women have procreated since the beginning of time versus only 40% of men. So women have already almost always disqualified a majority of men, but thanks to social media, feminism, women having their own jobs, etc., even more men are disqualified from the sexual
You don't
marketplace.
think that the reverse is true for
I'm
men?
sorry?
That men have become more selective as well?
Not at all. Men have become far more desperate, if anything. To put things in perspective, the average female has more dating options and sexual market pull than like a celebrity dude.
So yeah, we could sleep with anyone we want, but the quality of men isn't good.
No, but the point is you have access to these men.
Right, but just because we have access doesn't mean that these are good men.
That's an opportunity. That's huge. You can go on a date. Like, you can literally walk into a bar and go, and people are not going to care. But if I do that shit, they're going to be like, what the fuck? Get this thing out of here. So it's like, it's not the same at all. Women have far more opportunities than men do when it comes to dating. And the issue
yes, we
here,
have more opportunity, but they're not necessarily good opportunities, is what I'm saying.
well, trust me, there's going to be a couple good ones in there. It's just that you guys typically don't want to date them because they're boring or their socks don't match or some other frivolous reason women
I feel
disqualify
like you have
guys.
a very small, specific sample size of women.
I'm sorry?
Because the majority of women, as a woman, and with several friends who are women as well, we don't view guys this way. In fact, we look past a lot of traits that most people would consider problematic.
That's bullshit. The majority of women are chasing the top small percentage of men. That's just what it is. And look, that's just a natural selection. It's always been that way.
I
But
can see how you could believe that, seeing like your sample size. But from my perspective,
let's use this college campus for example. Who are the guys that are fucking the most girls on campus? More than likely, probably the frat guys and athletes, right? That's more. That's a social status thing, and that's almost representative of the real world too. So the girls here at the school, you can use this college campus as an example. The guys that are going to be cleaning up and have the most sexual access are a minority of the men that have some type of prestige or status on the campus, aka a big frat or one of the athletes, right? The football team is going to get, a guy from the football team, for example, here, is going to get way more girls than a guy that doesn't play a sport or a guy that's on a club team, right? So college almost sets you up for this, and it's a realistic interpretation of how the real world works when it comes to sexual, intersexual dynamics. And all the women are attracted, not all, but a majority of the women are attracted to a small percentage of the men. And this is literally embodied right here on a college campus. The real world is very similar.
So you're saying that men, like you were saying before, they should go to the gym and they should better themselves to
Absolutely.
attract more women.
Absolutely.
Yes, I agree with that.
Absolutely. But a lot don't.
Right. So then why does that fall on the women? Why should men why should women
I'm not
accept
complaining about,
subpar men?
I want to be clear about this. I'm not like complaining that women are hypergamous. I'm just letting guys know that this is how women are. Because the problem here is that men aren't taught this stuff. They're taught women are sugar and spice and everything nice, be a gentleman, chivalry, blah, blah, blah. And they're not taught these unflattering and, black pill type realities about female nature. They think it's a Disney fairy tale. So that's why I put out these facts, because a lot of guys don't figure this out until it's too late. I'm sure you've heard a couple guys come up here where they gave it all to a girl, they were in a relationship, it ended up badly because, they were simping, or they treated her like an equal, or they didn't uphold their end of the bargain with, provisioning or being a
I feel
leader.
like that's survivorship bias. Only the people whose relationships didn't work out are going to complain.
Well, relationships are kind of in the toilet. We have high divorce rates. We have women that are, finding a majority of men as, unsatisfactory from a relationship perspective. Like, it's kind of, women's standards have went up, and alongside that, more and more guys are being ostracized, which, again, I'm not complaining about it. I'm just bringing this out there to all the guys out there that being an average guy no longer works.
All right, that's all I had to say.
No problem. Who's up next? Ladies first.
Thank you.
What's up?
Earlier you were talking about, or someone came up here talking about women being on OnlyFans. Would you support eradicating like OnlyFans and porn as a whole?
Yeah, I think pornography has a lot of problems. I think it should be absolutely limited to some degree for sure. It's a big problem.
Do you think that it's more on the women that are posting this, or the men that are like consuming said content, or
Both
should it
parties.
really be on both?
Both parties.
Okay, and also you were talking about women not being able to vote, which is obviously
Yeah,
pretty extreme.
repeal the 19th Amendment, yeah.
I assume that comes from your stance of like modern day feminism, where women have really taken it out of its bounds. I feel if you went to non-modern day feminism, like just, I guess, Jane Addams, Elizabeth Cady Stanton, like just advocating for women to that they're worth more than just being in the home. Do you think that chivalry and all of those things that you said no longer apply to courting and dating, that could work if that type of feminism is what prevailed today?
Chivalry is dead and women killed it.
So do you feel that it is solely because of women that it's dead?
It's a big contributor to the destruction of chivalry, yes. It's a big, it's not the only thing. You can make other arguments.
And how do you feel that, like, what exactly did women do? I'm curious.
Say that again?
What exactly did women do to have chivalry die on their behalf?
Because men that treat women chivalrously typically are not rewarded for that. They're punished for it. There's a reason why the phrase "nice guys finish last" is extremely popular, and it stood the test of time.
All right. Yeah, I just wanted to hear your stance on that.
Yeah. No. Being a nice guy never works, really. Who's up next? Also, for all of you guys that just joined, welcome. Some of my stances: women are dumb, Jews run America, it wasn't 6 million, Indians stink, blacks commit crimes too much, and trannies shouldn't have guns. Boom.
All right, how's it going, Myron? You've already talked about how you feel about the ideal man should be the ideal woman to be, so I'm not going to ask you about that more. But I will want to ask about is that, when a man and a woman come together, they form a relationship, and then ideally a family. And I think that's a beautiful thing. And so my question really is, or the core of my question is, how important do you think that the family structure is in our modern world?
It's critical. It's the cornerstone of any thriving society.
Yeah, and I also think like that, like you said a lot, like, a woman should be home, a woman should be like, making sandwiches, whatever. But like, I also think that to a degree it's important for, the man to also be home and present in his household just as much as he's working. Like, I think that it's important for a woman to take care of their kids, a woman to be a part of the family just as much as a man and a husband and a father is.
Yeah, no, I understand your perspective, but I think when, children are young in the child rearing years, obviously the mom is going to be more important.
Yeah,
I think the
that's true.
dad needs to step in more during the teenage years, to kind of be more of a disciplinarian. I've always said good dads keep daughters off shirt poles and sons out of jail. So I think the father's job is kind of come in as they become teenagers and adolescents to kind of let them know, hey, look, there's consequences to doing certain things in life. And hopefully the father will discipline the child before the state or the police have to, before they ruin their life. Right? Like if you catch your kid smoking weed, I'm a big proponent of slapping the shit out of your kid if they do some fuck shit, because they need that negative reinforcement. Because I'd rather your dad smack you and tell you not to do drugs or smoke weed than you get smacked by a cop and then put in handcuffs and then have your future ruined with a criminal record.
Yeah, and also considering the dynamic of how women should be in the household, men should also be in the household. I'm just wondering, do you think there's any degree to which that just as much as a man can make money, be a breadwinner, a woman can also provide, I guess, monetarily in a sense for her family?
I think if she has an at-home job that's not too laborious, where she doesn't have to worry about checking in with some boss or answering to some other man, and she doesn't have a kid, then I get that. But I think once kids come into the picture, that's got to be priority number one.
Okay, I understand.
So,
Appreciate it.
there's obviously going to be different scenarios, and I do understand that we live in an expensive, inflated world now. But obviously, I think every guy should strive to be the sole breadwinner, and when kids come in, that's got to be the priority. And if that means she's got to quit her career, quit her career.
Okay.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, all right, appreciate it. Thank
No
you.
worries, man. Who's up next?
What up, Myron?
Yo.
So obviously we had a rough start at the start of the season. We lost Walter Clayton. We lost Will Richard, Elijah Martin. We picked up Xavier Lee, Boogie Fland, and we lost a few games at the start, but now we're ranked number 5. So how far do you think we're going in March Madness?
I'm not going to lie, man. I don't watch sports.
You don't watch college basketball?
No.
Dude, watch March Madness. We're going to go back-to-back just like 2006, 2007.
Hey, I get it. School spirit and all, but I don't really watch sports.
All right. Well, thank you.
No worries.
Hey,
What's
what's up? I'm a senior in high school, and I don't know how much you know about colleges, but you think I should go here or Florida State?
Who's going to give you more money?
Probably Florida, to be honest.
Go to the school that's going to put you in less debt.
All right, for sure. Thank you.
Yeah, college a lot of the times is a scam, dude. So try to minimize loans and going into debt.
What's going on, Myron?
And get a degree that matters. What's up, man?
I have a question. So what do you think is going on with the war right now, and what's next?
Well, we're in a very precarious situation. First it started out, the war's going to be 4 days. They thought they would bomb the compound, kill the Ayatollah, kill 50 of his top government officials alongside him. And that would have people running into the streets and do an uprising. That clearly failed. Then they said, okay, it might take 4 weeks. Then it might take 8 weeks. Then 100 days. And then the latest I'm hearing is it might go into September.
Wow.
So this war is very bad. It's a lot of you guys are young. You guys might not remember 2003 or even been alive at that point. But this is literally Iraq 2.0. And it's not good for us whatsoever for numerous different geopolitical reasons, which I'll spare you the details unless you actually want me to go into it. But yeah.
Right. Sorry. What do you think Russia and China are going to get involved at a certain point?
Well, Russia's currently providing Iran with intelligence. We know that the Chinese provided Iran with some pretty sophisticated weaponry and equipment. So they are assisting from more of like an assist, more of a standoffish but support role.
Right.
But yeah, this war is no bueno, and the longer it goes on, the worse it's going to be.
Yeah, 100%. How do we stop foreign influence in this country?
We got to get rid of lobbying groups like AIPAC and other Jewish-led organizations that
Agreed.
constantly lobby for
Yes.
Israel. It's
America
absolutely
first,
nuts.
people. America first. And
yeah. It's absolutely nuts that they have so much power and leverage in the United States.
Yeah.
Of politically. It's
political
crazy,
system,
dude.
economical system, everything. It's ridiculous. Yeah. We need leaders in office that can actually step up to the podium and say, I'm against that. And I'll say James Fishback is one person that we can agree upon that is against that. And
yeah, I respect any politician that doesn't take AIPAC money.
100%.
You
Yeah.
know?
America first, everybody. Thank you so much, Myron.
No worries, man. Good stuff. Who's up next? Any disagreements? Any feminists here? What's up, man?
Myron, good to see you.
Good to see you too,
We know
man. How are
a
you?
Mutual friend, John MLD. I actually invited him to be here, but you probably know he's got some surgery he's going through, so he couldn't make it.
Yes.
My question to you, knowing that you're a data guy, this dating and marriage scene, is it getting better or is it getting worse?
I think it's getting worse, man. Not to promote the book or whatever, but I go into detail about how I think pornography, AI, dating apps, sugar dating, like there's been a stark uprising in a lot of these different categories, and I see relationships between men and women getting worse and not better over the next couple of years, because the problem is that a lot of guys struggle to get girls and get laid. So what do men do when they have a problem? They fix it. They find some type of way to solve their issue, right? This is why we have electricity and cameras and, the modern society we have. They're finding ways to make things more convenient and easy. This reproductive problem, I think, is going to be next. I mean, we're already starting to see sex robots. We're starting to see AI. Things are changing significantly. So what's going to happen is, my prediction is, men are going to be able to solve their reproductive problem of getting laid faster than women are going to be able to solve their marriage problem and relationship pursuit problem. Faster than women can solve that problem. So what's going to happen is, because obviously, guys, we create everything, so we're going to solve that problem first. And then for women, that their needs of being in a relationship and everything else like that, that's going to come down the line. And it's going to be hard to replicate, because women actually need emotional attachment. They need that human element. Men are interested in things, women are interested in people. So it's going to be a lot harder to satisfy a woman emotionally with AI versus satisfying a man sexually or emotionally with AI. We're simple, they're not.
Right. So do you think it's going to collapse before it gets better?
That's what I think, yeah.
Okay.
And the numbers show it, man. Like in every single metric, marriage rates are down, divorce rates are high, women initiate most of the divorces. Women find most men is just unattractive overwhelmingly. Most men don't make enough money, or they're just not tall enough. They're not attractive. So we're cruising for a bruising, man. Birth rates are low. So these are all like very real problems.
Well, I'm doing my part. I just celebrated 27 years of marriage.
Congratulations, man.
Red back there, that's my son. That's my youngest. My other
Awesome.
son couldn't be here. And family is beautiful. I love it. And I definitely have a purview more like Andrew Wilson, the Crucible. Shout out to the Crucible.
Nice.
And I know
Yep.
you guys have different purviews. They almost track. It's like I get both of them. I get his. I see the flaws in it.
Well, I actually
and
agree
I
with
get
his
yours
position.
because yours is secular, but I get that too. You almost have
Yeah.
to adapt.
And I like Andrew's theory, because his thing is like, look, don't get married with the state, which I actually 100% agree with. Like, if you want to get married religiously, do it. It's only when the state gets involved that I start to get like, nervous for people.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, kids, I used to read the Communist Manifesto. Man, I grew up. You just grow up. But this shout out to Josh, my nephew in North Carolina, who loves you, baby. Thank you, Myron, for
All right,
being
man. No worries, dude. Awesome mustache, by the way. All right. What's up?
What's up, Myron? I got two neutral questions for you. First one being, do you think social media benefits society in a positive or a negative manner, like as a whole? And if so, why? And if not, why?
So, on the plus side, communication is easier. It's more convenient. You can stay in touch with those that you love or meet other people fairly quickly. We have more access than ever before. But on the negative side is blunted human interaction, made, obviously the pursuit of relationships and marriage significantly more difficult, especially for men. It's made it better for women, but worse for men. So it depends on which angle you want to, tackle it from. But it definitely has its pluses and negatives.
You said better for women and worse for men. Do you kind of consider like how a chick could just have a picture of her profile and she gets 30 DMs immediately?
Yeah, so what social media has basically done is it's given women, an incredible level of leverage in the dating marketplace to meet men and have options. And for men, it's completely, ostracized them because, we can use this college campus, right? So like, let's say a girl goes to school here, right? She meets a guy, nice dude. They have lunch together, eat at the chow hall, whatever. But then she's also on Tinder and Bumble, and she meets some guy that's like, I don't know, a hedge fund guy down the street, right? Or out of Fort Lauderdale, Miami. Well, who's going to be more attracted to her? Well, she has this cool guy that's here on campus, but there's another guy that she's been able to connect via the internet that has higher status, is able to provide a certain lifestyle. He's older. He has these things that women are looking for. That guy that would have been a good candidate for her is now kicked to the curb, and she's going to go with the other guy. And I don't think, we put enough emphasis on how much access women have and how that's drastically changed the marketplace and relationships and intersexual dynamics between men and women. It's created far more opportunities for women while obviously destroying those same opportunities for men. And this is why we see so many guys, as people say incels or whatever, but this is why it's so tough for regular guys to get ahead.
I agree. One more. Would you rather be in the woods with a grizzly bear or on a plane with a female pilot?
With a grizzly bear, 100%.
Thank you.
With a grizzly bear, dude. We almost got hit by a female driver on the way here, dude. Just cross the street. Like, oh. So, what's up, man?
Hey, nice to meet you, Myron.
You.
I had a couple things I wanted to mention. First of all, I think you contradict yourself a decent amount.
Sure.
You had mentioned that you wanted to repeal the 19th Amendment, and then your reasoning for that was that women don't have skin in the game.
Yep.
However, when someone had mentioned if your thoughts would change if women did have skin in the game, for example, that they would be accepted into the draft, you said that you wouldn't want women in the military.
You weren't listening. I said that if they had some type of government service or whatever, then obviously, I think at that point, then yeah, them being able to vote would make sense because they have skin in the game.
Okay.
But in general, most women don't have skin in the game, so that's why I don't think most of them should be able to vote. I think for men, it's given. For women, they have to earn it to vote.
Don't you think instead of repealing the 19th Amendment, it would make more sense to let women get this skin in the game, these government services?
Well, the problem is that a lot of the times they don't. Women overwhelmingly choose career fields that, are social in nature, right? They don't necessarily deal with certain job fields that the government might require.
But you don't promote them either. Like,
I'm sorry?
You don't promote this. Like, why isn't this part of your platform?
Why do women choose these careers?
Why don't you promote women not choosing these careers and instead choosing government services?
I do. Well, here's the thing. I do, but the reality is that women just are interested in different things than men a lot of the times. So what ends up happening is like they just choose certain career fields because that's what they want to do. Because we're inherently and biologically different.
Okay, then the other contradiction I wanted to point out was that you complain a lot about women not being smart. You say they're dumb. And then you say that they should limit their education because their primary role should be in a family.
You're totally mischaracterizing every single position I've given. I don't think you've been listening.
Could you elaborate then?
Yeah. What I said was I don't think women should be prioritizing education over the pursuit of a man and a family. That's what I said.
So they should still be educated?
I'm sorry?
They should still be educated.
Look, like I said before, I don't have a problem with them, attending school and having some kind of backup. But the problem is that becomes the primary focus. That's my problem with it.
Okay, and then the last thing I wanted to mention was how I'm not trying to mischaracterize your argument, so...
Yeah, it's okay. It'll only be the third or fourth
correct me
time.
if I'm wrong. You had said that women who are promiscuous, that's the reason that they deserve less, because they're slutty
Absolutely.
and they sleep around.
Never wife up whores.
So would you agree that people who don't do that don't deserve less?
Women that aren't promiscuous?
Yeah.
So regular
just
girls?
as much as men, yeah.
Yeah, they still deserve less too. Yeah, they still deserve less too. And the reason why I say this is because I don't want guys to fall into the trap and be a simp. Look, this is going to sound fucked up, but I'm going to say it. Women are terrible fucking people when they have leverage over you in a romantic relationship. I'm going to say that again. Women are terrible fucking people when they have leverage over you in a relationship. I'll give you an example. Let's say you move in with a girl, right? You're staying at her spot, you're crashing there, whatever. You're not paying any of the rent. She's trying to help you out, whatever. As the days progress, she's going to become more annoyed, more bitchy, and agitated with you. Rightfully so, because women don't respond favorably to lazy men, okay? Because their attraction circuitry is based around a guy that can provide security. You sleeping on her couch every day is inherently going to turn her off. Now, let's flip the roles. Let's say you have an apartment and she crashes at your spot, right? Are you going to get as annoyed with her as quickly? Probably not, because men have far more tolerance for creating resources for women and children than women do, right? Like, men are designed to create excess resources, not just for themselves, but for their family. Women aren't built that way. So, and this is something that a lot of guys don't understand. And they buy into this egalitarian mindset that men and women are the same. They're not, dude, at all.
And where are you getting this information from?
It's a biological reality.
You think women are just naturally less tolerant to putting up with people's stuff?
Yes, women are far less tolerant of incompetent men that can't produce and protect and provide. Yes.
Do you have any studies for that?
What was that?
Do you have any studies for that, or you're just pulling that out of the
I mean, it's a biological fact. You can countless psychology books on this. Women prioritize security, right? And men prioritize replication. So women prioritize survival value from the guy. Can he protect and provide for me? And then men prioritize replication value. Is she hot? Very simple.
But it was nice
I mean, let's be
talking to you.
honest here, dude. When you're out with a girl, if she tells you, if you meet a girl and she's like, you ask her, hey, what do you do for work? And she says, oh, I'm unemployed or I'm homeless. Like, are you really going to give a shit? No. If she's hot, you're going to still try to bang her. But if you flip the roles and you tell her you're homeless, she's going to lose an enormous amount of attraction for you.
I hope that most men wouldn't want to marry someone who's unemployed.
You're missing my point.
But
Like,
I'm not. I think
you're-
it applies to both sides.
What I'm trying to say is that your ability to provision is a large part of what makes you attractive, and a woman's ability to provision, we don't give a shit. No guy ever says, "What's your degree?" "Oh, you got a master's? My dick is hard." No guy ever. No one cares.
It was nice talking to you.
Hey, it's the truth, man. Any feminists that disagree, don't like what I said or anything else like that. For those of you that just joined in, here are some of my stances. Myron Gaines, one half of the Fresh Fit podcast. Number 1, women are dumb. Number 2, blacks commit too much damn crime. Indians stink. It wasn't 6 million. Jews run America. And trannies shouldn't have guns.
What's up, Myron? I think I want to go back to the women in voting issue. So
Sure.
This question has been asked before, but I want to ask you again just to make sure. You think if women were included in the selective service that they should be entitled to have the right to vote?
Well, I'm not a fan of women being in the military at all.
Yeah, but
honestly.
assuming that,
especially in combat roles. Maybe support, but not combat at all.
Yeah, but assuming that they were, the liberal agenda.
Yeah, then we
one.
can make like at that point we can make exceptions because obviously at that point it's earned.
Yeah. Okay, then what about men who are on the selective service list, but because of some life circumstances or disabilities, for example, they'll never actually serve, so they don't really have a stake in the country in the way that other men who might serve do?
Well, I mean, that's for the military to decide. They can bring you in and evaluate you and then decide if you're fit for duty or not. That's kind of their
Yeah.
thing. But the point is that you still have to, so put yourself into the selective service at 18.
Do you think that those men who have no chance of ever actually serving, that they deserve the right to vote? If so, why?
More of a right than women do.
Why is
Because they have
that?
skin in the game automatically. If you don't enroll in the selective service, there's consequences for that. Significant consequences.
Yeah, but these men will never actually serve a day of combat or support role because of some life circumstances or something. So how is that
Again,
having skin in the game?
That's a case by case situation, but regardless, they still have to be in the selective service, which means by definition they have skin in the game. Now, are there going to be some exceptions and nuanced examples like you're trying to present? Sure, but in general, men must be in the selective service, or there's serious financial and criminal consequences for that.
Yeah,
women
sure.
don't.
I don't think that just being in the selective service, if you're never going to serve a day in your life, counts as having skin in the game. But let's
It absolutely
move on
does,
here.
because if you're not in it, you lose opportunities.
Why does that count as having skin in the game?
Okay. If you don't enter into the selective service as a guy and at 18, opportunities are closed on you, versus women don't have to deal with that. So you have skin in the game by default.
Yeah, sure, but you're not buying into America in any meaningful way.
Which you
in
can
that
be is the
case.
point.
Yeah, but if you're like
So
one of
you
these-
by you going into selective service, by definition, you have skin in the game.
Okay, sure. We can just agree to disagree here. Let's move on.
Okay.
What about buying into the country in other ways? For example, women pay taxes, and I think it's reasonable to say that someone who pays taxes has enough skin in the game to deserve to deserve a right to determine what goes on in the country.
It depends.
What do you mean it depends?
It depends. On every situation is going to be different. Like I said before, it depends on what their service is. If they just have like a regular job or whatever, and they're paying taxes, I still think, basically, my position is this: we got to go back to a patriarchy that isn't cucked.
Okay.
We have a gynocentric patriarchy where men are responsible for everything, but they don't have any real authority, versus women are not responsible for anything, but they have all the same authority. That's my problem.
I think women who pay taxes, work their own job, are bought into the country enough to deserve a right to vote. I think that's...
Okay, we can agree to disagree then.
Okay,
I gave you
sure.
my positions. I don't think they have skin in the game, which I established with selective service and other things. You think that doesn't count, but that's fine.
Yeah, sure. One last thing, I'd like to announce that on March 27th, we're actually having, I know one of your close friends, Destiny, here at UF2.
Was that the 27th Destiny is going to be here?
Yeah.
Cool.
Come into the Wrights Grand Ballroom.
Nice. All right.
Okay, thanks, Myron.
Cool. I like Destiny. Hey, what's up?
I was curious, where do you get your generalizations from? Because you're kind of talking
On what
Excuse
topic
me.
specifically? I
Well,
said a lot.
yeah, I gotcha. You're kind of talking about like it seems like to me you've spoken to every single woman on the planet. Because I know myself as a person, and I am antithetical to everything you're describing as.
Okay,
being
so
a
you would
woman.
identify as a feminist, I'm assuming?
Yes.
Okay.
I think women deserve rights.
Okay.
So my question that you haven't answered
go ahead.
was, how do you get your generalizations if you haven't spoken to every single woman on the planet? Because personally, I believe that stereotypes are incredibly harmful and not productive. Oh, yeah. What, your response? No,
I'll
go
let
ahead.
you finish
just
what you have to
laughed.
say.
Yeah, that's what
You're
I
done?
had to say.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, so this is another, like, progressive ideology that's kind of retarded, and I'll explain what I mean by this.
Okay.
Stereotypes typically are rooted in
Very
fact,
very-
right? Like, that's what it is, right? Like,
Very
if you're walking down the street at night and you see, like, 3 black dudes walking towards you with Nike fleeces on, you're probably going to cross the street because you don't want to get mugged, right? If you want to hire a lawyer after getting arrested, you're probably going to hire a Jewish lawyer, right? Asians are going to be good at math and do your algebra homework. So it's like...
So you've spoken to every minority on the fucking planet?
Okay, there's always going to be exceptions to the rule.
Right.
But the world operates on generalities. So that's just how it is. Actually, you know what? This is interesting. This is something that women have a tough time understanding, actually. I'm glad. This is a perfect example of what I mean. So women have a problem with generalities, especially if it doesn't apply to them. So, like, let's say, for example, I say something like, yeah, a lot of these girls are sluts or a lot of these girls are dumb. A girl will say, well, I'm not. Like, okay, cool. But that still doesn't override the fact that a majority are. So...
What?
What
is
generalizations?
your data?
Generalizations is how the world works.
Right, but where is your data? I'm asking for where you get
Okay,
those
what specific point do you have a
generalizations.
contention with that you want me to?
I don't think all girls are sluts. Or
I
most
never said all girls are
I'm
sluts.
sorry. I don't think most girls are sluts.
A lot of them are.
Okay, I would love your argument.
Okay, so women, right,
Mm-hmm.
have way more sexual access than men do. Okay.
How so?
What was that?
How so?
Because women are still getting laid while men don't. So what does that show? That shows that women are having sex with the same small percentage of guys, pretty much. Like their
But where are you getting this information? Because I can pull anecdotal information out of my ass,
There's many
too.
different studies that show this, whether it's like the Family Studies Institute or which deals with female promiscuity or whatever. The point is, I'm trying to say is that women have more sexual access than men. And since they have more sexual access to men, they're far more likely to be promiscuous. And a lot of girls are promiscuous. Now, is that every single girl? No. But I do think that men need to adapt to the new normal where a lot of women are promiscuous. And you probably don't want to commit to these girls long-term as a guy because that's going to create problems for you. Because we've seen studies where the higher a woman's notch count, right, or sexual partner history, the higher the likelihood of divorce or a failed marriage. Because women don't respond the same to sex as men do. For us, it's like taking a piss. For you guys, it's like, a big deal.
Okay, great generalization.
Because
So
women
what
have far
I
more
w-
biological investment in sex. You guys can get pregnant. We don't. So that's what I'm trying to say.
So what would you say to men committing the most violence and sexual violence in America? Like how does that play into women?
That's
like,
a completely different topic.
How so? Because you're talking about how women bad this, women bad that, women sluts.
I never said woman bad.
Do you don't think your rhetoric like perpetuates that? Like you don't think like the culture of men are agreeing with your points and going out and making these generalizations of saying I hate women. Women
see-
deserve less.
Yes, and that's precisely what women respond favorably to. Yes.
Right. So that's your only generalization you're going to.
Yeah, women don't respond favorably to nice guys. So therefore, when you meet a girl
okay,
and you're
what-
seeing her, you
I
can't
would
give her
love
everything
your
and
argument
pedestalize her.
for that.
I'm sorry?
I would love your argument for that.
That nice guys finish last?
Yeah.
That's what you're asking? Like nice guys finish last?
Yes, I would love to hear it.
Okay. I mean, I think it's kind of common sense that
Okay, common
nice
sense,
guys
that's
get
not
friend
an
zoned.
explanation.
What was that?
Common sense isn't an explanation.
Okay.
Like, just get to the point, please.
Yeah. So here's the thing.
I have a job. I know you don't like that, but
You should be in a kitchen somewhere. That'd be a good job.
Yeah.
But anyway.
see, like everyone laughing at that. Like, you don't think that's an issue?
Because you're just not accepting like a very. This is like common sense.
Common sense.
Nice guys
Mhm.
don't do well with women because nice guys pedestalize females. This is repulsive because women don't want a guy that pedestalizes them.
So-
They want a guy that they're chasing the validation of. They want a guy who feels better than them. So if I meet a girl and I pedestalize her and give her everything off rip, that implies that I see her value as higher than mine.
How?
And that is completely unattractive
How
to
is
females.
treating someone with kindness? You're mistaking that.
I'm not
for
saying not to be. I'm
simping.
not saying not to be kind. I'm saying don't give her the world and be a simp. Big difference.
What do you see as giving a girl the world?
Contacting her too much, taking her out on expensive dates right away, giving her money, any of this stuff. Like, see, and this is the thing. Since you're a female, you don't understand these dynamics because you don't have to deal with women. But for guys, this is a very real dynamic where guys have to come into a relationship and preserve attraction by not being a nice guy. Because women don't respond
not
favorably to nice
true.
guys.
I
What you
have
say you
dated
want versus
men.
what you
Like,
respond
I
to.
can use anecdotal evidence as well. And, when I've dated or spoken to men, I prefer the men who don't give the bullshit rhetoric that you give.
Okay, so you dated nice guys before.
I've dated kind men, yes.
Okay, so where are they now then?
Where are they now? Living their lives?
Exactly.
I
Point
have
proven.
one right now. Like,
Point proven. Like,
no, it's not a point proven because
Point
you
proven.
have value differences. Doesn't mean that I said, oh,
Value
wow,
differences.
they're an awful man because they took me out on expensive dates and I feel like that someone should value me less. Like, what? Why is that? Why should I believe that?
That's fine. Look, you don't have to believe what I'm saying.
I know.
Because you're not a man. But once again,
How does that
privilege is
go?
invisible to those that have it. You don't understand what it takes to be attractive as a guy because everything is handed to you as a female. You don't have to worry
Not
about
everything is handed to me as a female.
approaching, learning to be attractive, making a bunch of money, having status, having a commanding voice, speaking in the active voice. Like, this is stuff that women don't have to worry about.
Do you
or
think
learn.
I have men at my feet, like paying my rent and, giving me an education and giving me job opportunities?
Well, the point is that you can. It doesn't mean that you're
That's not true.
You okay? Really?
If it were true, every woman would be going through that.
A lot of them do. Now, just because you don't seize the opportunity doesn't mean that other women don't do it, or better yet, that they don't have the opportunity. I'm not saying you are. I'm saying you can. That's the big distinction. You
Okay.
can.
I have been rage baited by you for about an hour, and your arguments have zero substance. So enjoy
Zero
your
what?
sandwiches.
Zero what you said?
I will be gone.
Okay, there you go. It's triggered women as usual.
Okay, so you say 6 million didn't die. How many do you think died in the Holocaust?
6 or 7?
Total?
Yeah, 6 or 7, man.
Okay, so if 6 million didn't die, then why did all of the Nazis say, yeah, we did it, we're not sorry, during the Nuremberg trials?
Yeah, well, those were basically a circus. A lot of the testimony was, garnered through bullshit and coercion.
Garnered through what? They all died afterwards. It's not like they had anything to gain. They all got hung. It's not like they said that and then were let free. They said that and then got hung by the state.
You'd be surprised at how, what you'll admit to when you're being tortured. You know what I mean? This is it's a very real thing. This is why, law enforcement agencies can't take informants and or prosecute cases where CIA individuals torture people, right? This is what got John Kirikow put in jail, essentially. But as far as that thing, look, all jokes aside, I'm not saying the Holocaust didn't happen. What I am saying is a lot of the things that we were told about World War II just don't make sense.
What?
And I think that there's nothing wrong with questioning it, investigating, looking into it, but for some odd reason, even looking into it is illegal in like 20 different countries.
But it was investigated and was looked into. That's why it's like one of the most documented events in human history. That's why it's such a strong... The reason there's such a strong consensus that it was around 6 million isn't because we're not investigating it. It's because we did investigate it, and that's what like all of the experts came to independently. And I don't think it should be illegal to question it, but it makes sense that questioning it at this point would be considered dumb because we've already reached a consensus.
Okay, let me ask you a question. Do you think Israel committed a genocide in Gaza?
Yes.
Okay. Here's the interesting thing. We watched the genocide happen literally in 1080p 4K. People getting double tapped, kids blowing up, blood and guts everywhere, right? The Israeli government to this day says that it was not a genocide. They deny it wasn't a genocide. So
I don't believe in the Holocaust because the Israeli government tells
hold on,
me
let
that
me
it
let me finish
happened,
my
bro.
point. I'm trying to draw a similarity here. So we all saw that a genocide happened in 1080p 4K over 2023, into 2025 for almost 2 years, right? But the Israeli government denies it, says it's not a genocide. We didn't do any war crimes. We didn't starve them, blah, blah, blah. They're denying a genocide when we have irrefutable proof with video and testimony. You don't think that same group of people will lie about an event from the 1940s from which they derived their entire victim narrative from, that they use to prop up their victimhood, that they use to make a bunch of money in Hollywood, that they use anytime someone criticizes them and they say, oh, hey, the Holocaust, the blood libel. Like, if these people can lie to us and deny a genocide in 4K, what makes you think we should believe them when it comes to events in World War II, especially when there's a financial, political, and emotional stimuli for them to tell that story?
So you're saying this same group of people, which you mean Jewish people, I assume.
Yes.
But after World War II, it's not like we knew it was 6 million just because the Jewish people told us that. The Jewish people were dead. The reason we know it was 6 million is because of all of the other people that
they were
told
talking
us
about
that.
6 million way before the Holocaust. Way before that. That 6 number is extremely popular for them. And then look, I don't mean to be crude here, but there simply weren't enough ovens for the cookies. It just mathematically it just doesn't work.
There were gas chambers too. You're acting like there were, first of all, not to be crude, but there were gas chambers. There were Jewish people that were shot in Auschwitz. They didn't even use ovens. There wasn't a crematorium in Auschwitz. They just shot them.
Yeah, but that's what they claim. They got gassed and ovens and everything else like that, and the math just doesn't add up. And also, gassing gassing 6 million people is my bad. That's number one. That's a counterproductive, costly, and stupid way to kill someone, or to do a mass extermination. That doesn't make sense. When you look at the camps, a lot of them didn't have remnants of the gas that they're talking about. A lot of it was Zyklon B, which was used to delouse. A lot of people died from typhus, not necessarily from being systematically killed. Like, there's just, I'll tell you this, because obviously this topic is very controversial, and obviously we're on fucking YouTube. So I'll say this: look up the case of Ernest Zundel. Okay, he went ahead and was passing out pamphlets on the Holocaust and questioning the official narrative. They arrested him for it, and what ended up happening was he went to trial, and he brought in a bunch of different expert witnesses to defend his case, and that ended up showing a lot of the holes and inconsistencies with the official Holocaust narrative. They brought some of these survivors in, and a lot of them came in and said, oh yeah, I was selling a book. I was just using my imagination, So I question everything that comes from that side, because they've lied so much. Here's another one. Do you remember when Israel said that they were burning babies and beheading babies after October 7th?
I believe that it happened.
You believe that happened?
No, I believe that they said that.
Oh, you believe that? Do you believe it now?
No, I believe that they said that. I'm not saying I believe that it happened.
Yeah, but you want to know the crazy part? That's not true.
Yeah,
So a guy named Yossi Landau, look him up, from the ZAC organization and these other organizations that they're the first responders when anytime something in Israel happens, because obviously there's Jewish religious rights to preserving the body and burying it as quickly as possible. He made all of it up and he admitted it.
Yeah, but that was
Hold on, that's
years after the Holocaust. That's a different event.
This is my point. I'm trying to establish to you that they have no problem lying to perpetuate their victimhood. He went ahead and said, oh, there was 40 beheaded babies. We saw babies in ovens. We saw a woman with a baby cut out of her stomach. Here's the key. Those lies were used to push for an aggressive military front against Gaza, because by the time the truth actually came out, it was too late and they already had boots on the ground and they were bombing the fuck out of Gaza. Okay. So those lies were directly used to conduct a genocide. So my thing is this: if they could lie about if they could lie to us about a genocide that occurred in front of all of us in 1080p or 4K, if they could lie to us about 40 beheaded babies in 1080p, you don't think they would lie about an event in World War II when there were no cameras?
But again, they weren't the ones who came to the 6 million number. It wasn't a bunch of
It was them. They've been reporting 6 million forever.
No, it wasn't just a bunch of.
And if you go to Auschwitz, they've been lowering the number.
They're not the ones that came to 6 million.
If you go to Auschwitz, they've been lowering the number every couple of years. It goes from 6 to 3 to 4 to 2.
No, with Auschwitz, the only changing of the number was that when the Soviet Union initially arrived at Auschwitz, they said it was 4 million. But then the United States and their Jewish institutions or whatever actually said, no, it wasn't 4 million. It was closer to I think 2 million is the number. So no,
so that's the problem. They're changing the numbers.
No, not they. It was the Soviet Union that said it was 4 million. The Soviet Union said it was 4 million. We changed it to 2 million because that was the correct number. And that was 80 years ago. It's not like it's lowered every 3 years. That's just not few years. That's just not true. It was lowered once after the United States arrived at the camp and saw that the Soviet Union was lying about the initial numbers. It's not constantly getting lowered.
Here's the thing, bro.
You're just
Again,
making that
we
up.
got to use a little bit of common sense. If they could lie to us in 1080p and 4K, they could lie about beheaded babies. What makes you think they wouldn't lie about an event that they derived their entire victimhood from?
Because using that logic of if they can lie about this, then they can lie about
Yes.
that. You just
That's
lied
how it
about them
works.
lowering it
If
every
you lose your
few
credibility,
years.
you
so
lose
by
your
that
credibility.
logic, anything you're saying could be a lie because you just lied that they lowered every few years.
They
When
did.
that's not true.
You just
no,
admitted
that's
it.
not true.
Yeah, they did.
They lowered it once after the United States got to the camp.
What?
Look
So
it
they
up.
lowered it.
No, they lowered it once. You say every few years implies multiple times up until now. It was lowered once after the United States initially arrived at the camp. So you just lied. And by your logic,
No,
if you
I
can
did not
lie once...
They lowered the number. I told you they lowered the
No,
number.
you said they lowered
And then
it every
again,
few years.
This event is literally where they derive all of their victimhood from. So they have an extremely strong incentive to embellish it, to make it look a certain way. Also, I find it interesting how it's literally, this is an illegal topic to talk about in like 20 countries. So why is that? If it's so true and it's ironclad, why is it suppressed? Why is talking about this topic banned on every single social media platform? Why? Why do people that talk about it get banned?
You say it's not allowed on every single social media
But they could
platform.
deny genocide in 1080p.
No, okay, you're saying it's not allowed on any social media platform. You're popular because of social media. I don't understand this idea that social media is suppressing all of your ideas when that's how you became popular.
Mainstream platforms, YouTube, TikTok, etc. You can only talk about stuff like this on free speech platforms like Rumble. You can't talk about this topic on YouTube or any of these other Instagram, none of that.
Fresh and Fit is
And there's a reason for that.
Fresh and Fit is still on YouTube.
Yes, but we've been demonetized for like 3 years.
Well, yeah, it's
so,
obviously not
so that is
advertiser-friendly
censorship.
to talk about how
That
it
is
wasn't
censorship,
6
and we
million.
and we don't even talk about it on YouTube. So the point I'm trying to make is that there's certain topics that are taboo that you can't talk about. You could question that Gaza genocide all day, nobody cares, even though we have irrefutable proof it happened. But if we talk about this event from World War II and we say it's anything less than 6 million, it's a big problem. Again, keep in mind, I am not saying it didn't happen. What I am saying though is that the 6 million number and all the facts and circumstances that they told us about this event simply don't line up. And I'm saying that we should be able to have a conversation about it without getting banned or put in jail in multiple different countries.
No,
That's my argument.
I don't think you should be put in jail. I mean,
That's my problem with it.
Private corporations like YouTube can do whatever they want unless you want like a state-controlled economy. You can't really stop them from banning people if they want to. But I don't think that people should be put in jail for it. I just think
But that's
that,
what I'm trying to explain to you. It's the most censored topic by far on the internet.
I mean, no, there are things that are more censored than that.
No, dude.
No, if you like, for example, if you went online and said, "I'm going to bomb the White House," that's more censored than saying, the
okay, outside of
Holocaust
like
didn't
imminent
happen.
violence and being a retard, of course, but I'm talking about like real discourse or a real topic. The Holocaust is at the top of the list that will get you banned every single time. It will get you banned.
That's because it's just misinformation because we have such a consensus that it happened.
Okay, we could go to the next person. I think I've presented quite a bit of evidence as to why questioning it is valid. No one's denying that it happened. It's just that 6 million is a kind of a ridiculous number.
Hello.
All right, hi.
Hi. It's really good to speak with you. My name is Alex. I wanted to ask a question. The previous lady that you spoke to, the woman that left to work, you had told her that she should go to the kitchen instead of going to her job. My question is, why do you decrease the... What's the word? Why do you decrease the value of this individual as a human being to be less than yourself because of the difference in gender? I don't understand why you can have such a bias towards women specifically, let's say, specifically about this example about going to the kitchen when men can do the same. Men and women can do this very similarly, very equally. Why do you disagree with this?
Well, that's the problem right there. Women don't value being a homemaker and a mom. We tell women, be strong and independent, be a boss babe, make money, get your bag, travel, whatever it may be. We're basically encouraging women to behave like men, and we demonize them for, doing their God-given gift of having a family and bearing children. So that's my problem, because women look at being a homemaker or being a mom as below them, when in reality, I think that's the best job that you can do. So we gotta reframe this as in it's a man's job to protect and provide and go make money, not a woman's. Now, again, I am sensitive to the fact that we live in a new world. But the problem is that women prioritize earning money, being a 304, living their life, having fun over having a family. And I think that causes long-term problems for them. And it's because of this mindset of, well, why do I have to go make a sandwich? Does that, like, am I less than you? No, we have different roles. And I think motherhood is one of the best things a woman can do, not a career.
I agree with you. I think that the beauty of having children is extremely important, especially in a society with a declining population such as America. We have a birth rate of 1.6 right now. 2.1 is recovery. I think what I disagree is the fact that limiting women from pursuing a career may be more harmful than saying, being a mother is beautiful. I think there needs to be a case where both...
Well, I'm not limiting it. I'm saying they need to prioritize motherhood over everything else. But the issue is that women chronically, put motherhood like in 6th, 7th place behind like traveling and dating and having fun and going to school and a job.
Yeah, but can you hear me? I think that instead of I guess you're saying you're not limiting women, but by using this derogatory language, you're essentially putting yourself in a position where the people that perceive what you believe to be extremely negative. You have a very nuanced opinion on this, and I feel like a lot of the people that you talk with see this nuanced opinion as black and white. I hate women. Women don't deserve rights, and so on and so forth. If you keep... you don't have to take advice from me.
You know what's interesting? I don't know if you guys have caught on to this, but I've never once said I hate women, but multiple people have come up to the mic and said that I've said that. Yeah. And this is kind of an interesting thing that I've realized with, women and progressives. What they'll do is they'll regurgitate back to me what they think I said based off how they feel. So if I say something about women that makes you uncomfortable, you come up to the mic and automatically assume that I said I hate women. No, it's actually quite the opposite. I teach men how women really move, so they'll never hate them for what they'll never be. Because a lot of guys think, oh, let me just get a girl. She's going to be an idealistic lover. She's going to love me for me, like my mom. Like, she's going to be loyal and stay with me forever. And I'm here to wake guys up and let them know that, like, yo, women are opportunistic lovers. You must bring something to the table. They, Brifflett's Law, women only deal with you if you could provide some kind of value, and if you don't, that they're going to leave, and there's nothing wrong with that. But these are the harsh biological realities that I'm trying to impart on the men here.
Yeah, I do see how this can be true, and I do appreciate your perspective. And I do think that people here should definitely listen to what this man is saying instead of interpreting it as their own idea. And we should have more productive conversations.
No worries. I mean, yeah, people always say, oh, you hate women or whatever. It's like, it's actually the opposite, Because I try to teach guys to not, because this is how I look at it. I'd rather red pill guys on this topic and let them understand how women really are versus they find out on their own and they fucking rage, right? So it's about teaching them how to, to not hate women for what they'll never be, which is an idealistic lover. Like, women love opportunistically. Men typically love idealistically. Like, all we really care about is like, oh, is she high and available? Awesome. Women, okay, is he tall? Is he good looking? Do a socks match? Does he speak well? Does he make money? So, and this is an ugly reality that guys don't understand, that women do love opportunistically. And I don't have a problem with that. That's how natural selection, right? This is how we ensure that retards don't reproduce. So, yeah.
Thank you for your time. Can I shake your hand?
Yeah, sure.
Thank you.
All right, who's up next? Take it easy. All right. What's up, man?
Hey, so I think the general consensus about like your demographic, maybe like men like college age, like who we have here. And my question is, what are your opinions on modern day behaviors that are generally considered masculine, like hopping on steak, doing peptides, doing hopping on gear, and yeah, just counterproductive behaviors that are technically considered masculine, that are being reinforced by social media.
Are you talking about men in particular?
Men.
Yeah. I am anti-gambling, anti-drug. I don't think men should use steroids ever. It's just not worth it. Gambling is the worst. Alcohol, no. Weed, no. people might say I'm straight edge or whatever, but yeah, I don't believe in gambling, drugs, alcohol, or any of that bullshit. It'll just ruin your life. And as a guy, you can't afford to not be productive. Like your sexual market value as a guy is based on your productivity, your ambition, and your future. Like doing all that stuff will just, hinder you.
Okay. And my last thing is I've noticed like your tone towards women is sort of aggressive, but I just want to put it out there that we are all sinners. God made us perfect, but it was part of our own will that we became imperfect when Adam ate the apple. And the greatest gift to man was God giving his son to die on the cross for us. And I just want to put it out there that Jesus loves you.
All right. Well, don't forget that Eve took the apple and fucked it all up for all of us. So don't forget that either. What's up, man?
Hey, Myron. I just want to say thank you for people like you, Nick, Sneeko, Justin Waller, for being an inspiration for young men in today's society. I think that what people take out of your podcast and they clip it and they make something bad of you, but I think what you're doing is amazing in today's society, and we need more people like you. And also, what would you say about like colleges promoting, fraternities based on degeneracy and, just like getting people to go out at their prime ages of 18, 19, 20 to go out and binge drink and just kind of just waste their years away in college and go down a very dark path?
Yeah, I mean, as someone who went to college myself, I was an athlete in college. That kept me away from a lot of the bullshit. But yeah, I mean, we have to be honest that college is, for a lot of people, not all, but for a lot of the students, is just an acceptable way to spend 4 years being a degenerate, right? Yeah. So I think for the guys, in such a competitive marketplace, guys really need to get on their P's and Q's in a very competitive job market. Degrees aren't going as far as they were before. Inflation is through the roof. I mean, I remember when I went to school, oh man, I'm showing my age here. I went to Northeastern in Boston. It was like $35K a year. Now it's like $70 to $80K. And I was like, I graduated in 2013. I'm really showing my age here. Yeah. But yeah, it's. I think guys can't really afford to fuck up in college nowadays. Yeah. And do you since it's so expensive.
Do you think it's a control mechanism for people to, fit into society by getting hazed and,
Say that again. Do I think it's a what?
Oh, a control mechanism for people to like join a frat and do degeneracy things to fit into society.
We have so many things in society that are control mechanisms, like watching sports, gambling, like, drugs, alcohol.
What do you call it? Praising men that you've never even met in your life and wearing a jersey number or wearing a jersey that if you were in the hospital, let's say, and you cheer and you scream and you rant for these players, they wouldn't even pay your hospital bill. I mean, so what are you doing screaming and ranting about players that would never even give a fuck about you in the first place?
That they want you to be plugged into the matrix, right? They want you to have a job where you make just enough to survive, so you can go drink on the weekends, have your Budweiser as you're watching a game, do the same thing over and over again, and not really look at the world at, how it really operates. So it's a slave mind, dude. Yeah. As my buddy Andrew Tate says, you got to resist the slave mind. And unfortunately, a lot of guys have the slave mind.
And my last question, would you also say processed foods like ingredients such as canola oil, corn syrup, and other ingredients are dumbing people down and also basically controlling them at the same time?
Yeah, there's a multitude of things that are making people stupider. The internet, social media usage. A lot of guys have problems with communicating and getting their thoughts out there effectively. COVID, I think, accelerated that, made it worse. But yeah, there's just so many things that have made people stupider. You can make arguments about the food. We don't really... having higher IQ isn't considered cool. A lot of times, you're a nerd. So there's so many different things that play into why people are stupider.
I just want to say, 100 years ago, if you were to say these things, it would be socially acceptable.
Oh yeah,
it's just clown world what we live in today. But
yeah, I feel sorry for you guys because you guys are growing up kind of like in a woke era, dude. I remember when you used to be able to call people faggots and nobody cared. Yeah. But nowadays it's like, oh God.
Last thing, sorry. Do you think in 10 to 15 years, do you think you'll see an increase of expansion to Eastern Europe in terms of Poland and
we did see a little bit when Trump came into office. We did get some more free speech.
No, I'm talking about people moving to Eastern Europe in terms of more freedom, and you don't really have these policies as you do in the West, as you do in Eastern Europe or more.
Say that again. You're really low.
Moving to Eastern Europe where there's actually more freedom in terms of countries like Poland and other right-leaning countries.
You're saying we have more freedom than them?
No, I'm saying do you think people will be moving there in the next 10, 15 years? In terms of also real estate going up in value in terms of those countries.
Yeah, expatriates is a growing thing, dude. Yeah. The passport bro movement is real.
Yeah.
Guys are definitely getting the fuck out of America. Yeah. That's very, very real. Yeah. And I've seen it explode over the past 10 plus years. I remember when Rouge V was writing books on it. Now it's like the norm, dude. Being a passport bro used to be like a very like niche underground thing. Now it's in the mainstream, dude.
All right.
So yeah.
Thank you, Myron.
All
Appreciate
right.
it.
No worries, man. Thank you. Good questions. All right. Hi.
Hello. You say that women deserve less, but there are countries where women already have less. So wouldn't it make more sense to live in an area that has, in the countries that support the ideals that you have towards women? Like in Iran and Iraq, women aren't allowed to go to school. They get married early. They have their babies early. Like, why wouldn't you choose to live somewhere like Iraq and Iran?
Women can go to school in
Syria?
Iran, and they actually are.
Yeah, but it's limited.
They can definitely go to school, and they're actually quite well represented in the job force there. But so you're asking me, why should women deserve less in foreign countries?
Why prefer to live in a more traditionalist society in those types of countries that support your ideals?
Because when women are in charge, everything gets fucked up.
Women aren't in charge in those countries, though.
No, I'm talking about here in the U.S.
Women aren't in charge in the U.S.
They
either.
absolutely are. We live in a gynocentric social order.
I don't agree with that. And you said
don't
that
agree?
you're against feminism, but all feminism did was give women the right to own property, bodily autonomy, and gave them more less discrimination in the workforce and access to education without being discriminated against. What's wrong with
but here's the
that?
thing. Feminism started out as equality, but now it's quickly morphed into superiority. That's what it is now. It's not. The equality thing was done decades ago.
Are you talking about like Western modern feminism, or are you talking about feminism in general?
Well, I'm talking about Western feminism. Now it's about superiority. It's no longer about equality.
It is about equality.
Okay, if you say so.
How is women having access to bodily autonomy superiority?
Sure. Because let's say you were to get pregnant by a guy. He wanted to keep the baby. You want to kill the baby. He has no reproductive rights in that say whatsoever.
But in states like Texas, the man can sue the woman if she aborts the fetus.
Sure.
He can sue her.
But the point
and put her in prison.
I don't
and
know.
report it.
Yeah, I don't know about that. The reality is that men have no reproductive rights versus women do. And then it could also go on the flip side. She decides to have the kid. He said don't have the kid. Now he's on the hook for child support. So that's what I'm trying to say.
He can give up his parental rights.
What was that?
The man could give up his parental rights so he doesn't have to pay child support.
Not really.
Legally,
She can absolutely still put him on the hook and have him pay what he's owed. And some states have like really, like Texas, for example, has very aggressive laws where if you're a deadbeat dad, like they will put you in jail. They will.
And
Every state's
also, you
different.
said that women should prioritize career over having women should prioritize childbearing over having career, but women
having a family, yeah.
They contribute $7 to $10 trillion to the U.S. GDP, and countries that have higher gender equality, like the United States and the West in general, they have higher GDPs than other countries that deprioritize gender equality, like Yemen, like Iraq, like Syria, that have lower rates of gender equality. They have lower GDPs.
Yeah, well, women also
and higher rates of poverty.
Yeah, and they also control 3/4 of the debt. They're the majority of the consumers. Women complain all the time about, we couldn't have credit cards until the 70s. Well, that was because women couldn't incur debt. So men had to incur the debt. And if she did get credit, she'd have to go through her husband. So because the man was responsible for the household and the finances. So he had the authority, but he had the responsibility, but he also had the authority. So
why
that's
should a
why
woman have to have her father or her husband have autonomy and control over her finances? If a woman's in debt, she's on.
I think the data shows most women are in crazy debt and are the majority of the consumers and control most of the debt in America. A lot of them are financially retarded.
Also, you said that women are intellectually inferior. If that's the case, how come women
Yes,
are
most
pursuing
geniuses
the
are men.
majority of higher learning?
Okay. Most men are geniuses. And then as far as higher learning goes, the standard education system that we have prioritizes being a slave, sitting still, folding your hands, listening to someone, following directions. These are all things that women, are better at men at because women are followers and they tend to be more compliant. They tend to be more agreeable than men. So the education system that we have is catered towards little girls succeeding versus little boys.
So wouldn't it make more sense to change the structure of a classroom so men can thrive instead of saying that women are intellectually inferior?
Well, they're trying to do that. But again, men are responsible for most of the infrastructure and inventions built all across the world, despite the fact that women have overrepresentation in universities. Men still, produce most of the infrastructure.
And also with the infrastructure, you say that the majority of jobs that women have aren't as important to the economy, but 80% of healthcare workers in the United States are women. 40% of doctors are women. Like 70% of practitioners, healthcare practitioners are women. 88% of nurses that keep people alive are women. And there's men in the hospitals that are nurses too, and they're working hard and keeping people alive. So to just write off an entire gender as being not as important, don't you think there's a bias in that?
Well, men are better than women at almost everything, and we're supposed to be leaders. So, I don't make the rules. I just report them.
And also,
feminism has been a colossal failure. Cool, we got female representation in the workplace, but what have we paid as the cost for that? We have destroyed families. The nuclear family's pretty much gone. The backbone of the United States is gone. We have more whores. We have less marriages.
The reason that there's more divorce is because women have the ability to have a divorce. Back in the 50s, women weren't allowed to leave a relationship or a marriage.
Yeah, and that's a problem. So now women are incentivized. Women are incentivized to divorce now.
Be in a marriage a problem. The
Birth control, no-fault divorce, all of these different things have contributed greatly to the declination of the nuclear family.
For the no-fault divorce, it's pretty much saying that you can't use cheating or whatever as a reason to declare a divorce. So a man or a woman could use no-fault divorce as well. So what's wrong with that?
Yeah, but that's the majority of divorces, almost 80% are initiated by women.
And
it's not men breaking up with women or initiating the divorces. It's the women that do it.
For the Institute of Family Studies, they found out that infidelity on the man's part is the highest reason for women initiating divorce. So
it
what's
varies.
wrong with that?
It's really money
and economic issues.
It's really money. And
the
here's the other thing too.
Lack of labor.
Hot take. I think men should be able to cheat. Yeah.
So why?
Let me rephrase. It's not even about cheating. I think men should be able to have multiple partners if they so choose. Okay? And the reason for that is because men have to earn their merits. Men have to earn the ability to have those kind of women.
And women earn their merit as well. Do you think
no,
it's
they don't earn
easy
anything.
to sit in college for 4 years and then go to college again for another 4 years?
Okay, your education
studies?
and your background makes no difference in your sexual market value. If you go out on a date with a dude, he's not going to sit there and be like, oh, what's your degree? Oh, you graduated? Awesome, my dick is hard. That's never happens. Men don't give a fuck about a woman's education or capacity to earn income.
Actually, you also said that men need to be more present fathers. It's actually my father that encouraged me to pursue a higher education. It said that would make me more desirable if I ever took.
Your dad told you getting education would make you more desirable?
Yes, he did.
Oh man, he was lying to you, man.
He wasn't.
He was lying to you.
One last thing, Myron, you're saying that
education does not make women more attractive at all.
That's
a big feminist lie.
Men need to get money and get ripped, and then they'll get a woman. How come you aren't married if you have this humongous platform and you have all this money? How come you can't maintain a stable and healthy monogamous relationship or even a polyamorous relationship? How come everyone you date ends up leaving you?
Okay, let me ask you this question. Are you fucking guys?
No.
You're not. Why not?
Because I don't feel like it.
You don't feel like it. Would it be fair to say that you're picky and you're selective on who you have sex with?
Isn't everyone selective?
Well,
it's a personal preference.
No, that's fine. So it's your personal preference who you have sex with, right?
Sure.
Okay. Wouldn't it be fair to say that women are the gatekeepers to sex?
No. Because someone can physically overpower you and have sex anyways.
Okay. I mean, outside of the exception, which is rape, I'm talking about in a consensual encounter, women control access to sex.
What if a woman desires a man more? Wouldn't that man be the gatekeeper then? It depends on the dynamic. You're saying in general terms.
In most situations, who is the gatekeeper to sex?
Depends on the most desirable person in the dynamic.
Okay. Since you refuse to answer, that's fine. In general, women are the gatekeepers to sex, okay? Guys are trying to smash. Women are trying to, get some type of commitment and resources. So we have different opposing things. So that's why I asked you, hey, are you fucking people right now? You said no. And I said, why? Because you're selective. Fantastic. Just like you're selective with who you have sex with, I am selective on who I engage with and have a relationship with. Because I give commitment as a man, you give sexual access as a woman. So for you to try to shame me for not being married is like me trying to shame you for not having sex. It's literally asinine because you control access to sex.
Women
so therefore,
can't gatekeep commitment either. They can't choose to not be in a relationship.
What was that?
You're saying that women can't gatekeep commitment either?
No, they can't because men are the ones that give out the rings, and you take our last names for a reason.
One last thing, Myron. You said something about
and so-
how we need to live in a society.
And I want to
that
make this
women
clear for everybody here,
prioritize-
because hold on, real quick, because I want to make this clear for all the guys here. See, this is a typical tactic that women employ. Well, they'll be like, "Oh, well, where's your wife or whatever?" Our metric of success isn't getting married. Our metric of success is having a bunch of money, being successful, and lots of women wanting to marry us. Us having options is our success. Your success is locking down the best guy that you can. You guys gatekeep sex, we gatekeep relationships. So for you
My
to sit there and be like,
success is
"Oh, well, where's your
educational
wife?" That's a
attainment.
false
It's not
equivalency.
getting a
It's not
partner.
analogous whatsoever. What was that?
My success is educational attainment. It's
And that is
not
why you're
getting a
brainwashed.
partner.
You're
I'm not
brainwashed by the Beyonce. You're brainwashed by the propaganda that tells you that your career matters and your education matters and your income. It doesn't matter at all.
Well, there are places like Turkey, like Tunisia, that prioritize your ideals. I just feel like if equality is so bad, why don't you live in places that are more traditionalist? That's my last question.
Again, I'm just calling it like it is. I'm just reporting how women are now and sexual interdynamics and awareing the guys on this topic. So, and again, like someone like you who prioritizes, this is exactly what I'm here to do, to combat this right here, this very pernicious feminist lifestyle where it's like my education and my career comes first, and that's fine. But when you're done with school and you're done, pursuing
What's
your
wrong
career,
with equality,
you're not going to have the same
though?
level of
Because
options.
you're
It's
saying
just-
that women deserve less. Women get paid 81 cents on a dollar, so women are already getting less.
So-
What's the problem?
Interesting. So
The majority of people in the government are men.
Okay.
The senators are men. This is a male-dominated society.
God- thank
it was
God it's
created
men.
by men, but it's already male-dominated. So
okay,
what
let
are
me,
you arguing?
Let me ask you a question. So are you saying that the wage gap exists between men and women?
Yes, it does exist. It's been, studied by economic forums all over the place.
Okay, so the wage gap is a myth, and I'll explain why. What you're referring to, the 80 cents on every dollar that feminists typically try to use to just say that there's a wage gap or a disparity between how much women are being paid versus men, that comes from a study of all working men versus all working women. And the problem with that is you're not comparing apples to apples, you're comparing apples to oranges. Because this study didn't account for hours worked, types of careers, danger of career, experience, the lack of female, the fact that women are more agreeable, they're less likely to argue for higher wages, education, all these, overtime, taking vacation, all of these different factors heavily contribute into how much money you make. Now, if you actually equalize everything and compare apples to apples, and they did this at Google, you find that women actually earn more than men. So the real reason why women earn less than men is because you guys deserve less than men. You guys are lazier. You guys tend to take more vacation time. You guys don't go into job fields that are more dangerous, that pay higher. Women don't like doing laborious jobs. They want to sit in a, in an air-conditioned room somewhere a lot of the times. So the reason why women earn less is because they deserve less in most instances.
So by that logic, would men not deserve to have access to higher education because they're just not as smart? They won't sit down. They won't respond well to teachers. They don't work well with the curriculums promoted in K through 12 education. They're not scoring as high on these SAT and standardized scores. Wouldn't that technically mean they have less merit to pursue higher education? If we were to use that same logic and that they should just pursue the trades like the majority of the men in Gen Z are already doing?
So you're actually strengthening my argument. Why is it that women earn less, right, allegedly to you, even though they're overrepresented in college university attendance, they're overrepresented in graduating, and they're overrepresented in academia in general? The reason why is because female choice. Women just choose to go and do jobs that tend to not pay as much. Women don't like to work as many hours. They don't like to work laborious jobs. Men are far more likely to take on jobs that are dangerous, blue-collar work. They're more willing to go ahead and go to a trade school maybe to earn an income. Women are far less likely to do that. So there's a multitude of different factors why women earn less, and it's all, completely plausible and explainable.
But women still hold up this infrastructure, though.
No, they don't.
80% of teachers are women.
Okay.
88% of nurses are women. 40% of doctors are women. Women are literally holding up the healthcare infrastructure. 80% of healthcare workers are women. And what's wrong with that?
And that's a problem. We need to put them back
How
in
is
the
that a
kitchen.
problem?
So they can, give us some healthcare or good sandwiches.
Women contribute to society. It was a woman that discovered the DNA double helix.
What was that you said?
A woman.
Woman discovered what?
Woman. It was a woman that discovered the DNA double helix. She's the first one.
Okay.
Rosalind Franklin.
Can someone fact check that? Because, for some odd reason.
Watson
that
and
is true?
Clark,
No,
they purported
'cause
her results.
this is like the fifth time
but
now.
She's the one that discovered it. It's it's proven.
Okay.
She just
Because
wasn't credited for it. They are the ones who received the Nobel Peace
For
Prize.
some odd
It was
reason-
a woman that discovered it. It was a woman that discovered radium. It's a woman that invented laser eye surgery. And Watson and Clark were working with Rosalind Franklin. So yes, she did help discover the DNA double helix.
Every time, bro. Every time. Yeah, so every time I go on a campus, it never fails. Like some black chick comes up and says, women invented XYZ, and it never happened. So it's actually James Watson and Francis Crick that invented it.
She's the one who created the X-ray images, and they stole her work. And it is proven.
There's a
you
man
can look
here,
for it.
as usual.
They received the credit for it, but she
It's like
invented
every time
it.
I go on a campus, like
And
some chick,
anyone in the biology
a
class
woman
would have
invented
learned
something
that.
and they didn't.
A woman invented laser eye surgery, and that
I
is
looked
a
that up
fact.
too, laser eye
Mary
surgery.
Curie.
So you're wrong on
also
that one, then we'll
received
find
a
the next
Nobel
one.
A Nobel
It's like a
Peace
theme,
Prize
dude.
For
Every single
discovering
time.
radium. What did you discover?
You know,
Misogyny? Oh wait, that already existed.
well, massage is actually good, but yeah, actually, it's a man again. Golam Payman invented LASIK. Dude, it's hilarious. Every time I go on a college campus, it's always some black chick comes up and says, we invented this. And I'm like, no, you didn't actually, Shaniqua.
Well, your logic doesn't work in real life. Have a nice day, though, Myron. Seek God.
Well, I knew that she was going to chimp out at some point. It's just a matter of time.
Myron,
But
we got a
I was
insult shut
expecting
over
that chimp
here.
out.
Good to speak to you. Earlier you said that you think that men should be able to cheat. I actually think that adulterers should be hung in the streets. I don't. Maybe at worst, life in prison. But I don't. Especially if you have children involved. I think no matter who's doing the cheating and the person who is like if you're getting with someone who's married and you're single, you should also be punished in that sense. This isn't what I wanted to Kim say, but I wanted to hear your thoughts about that.
Well, my thoughts are on this. Now, if you want to be monogamous I'm assuming you're coming from a religious perspective, right?
I am, yeah.
So, if you want to be monogamous for religious purposes and it's a choice, that's different. But my thing is, a lot of guys cope. They're monogamous by force because they're afraid of their girlfriend leaving them or their wife. So, they end up being at her beck and call and they're terrified to lose her. My thing is, I want guys to be in a position where they can choose to be monogamous. And unfortunately, most men don't have that privilege. They're hanging on, to their relationship with their girl by, skin of their teeth. So that's my issue. I want guys to be monogamous by choice, not by force.
Okay. And what I really wanted to come up here and talk to you about is you mentioned earlier about repealing the 19th, and you think that men are granted the right to vote by birth and women should earn it. I actually think we should be more restrictive about that. I think that not everyone...
The right to vote?
Yeah, even if you're a man, I don't think you should necessarily be granted the right to vote. I think, like you said, you need to have skin in the game, and I wanted to know if you share that
you could
opinion.
have them take a civics test or something like that, but my bottom line is like, for men, cool, we could put parameters in there or whatever. My main thing is like, I just don't think women should have the automatic, ability to vote right off rip like they do right now, where they have no responsibility over, they have authority, but they don't have any responsibility to armed services.
Would you like to chat about where we should draw the line for just anyone for the right to vote as if...
I would say for men, you can implement maybe a civics test, maybe a year or two of mandatory military service. There's different things that you can do that you can explore.
What about people like that who still don't have as much of a stake in society, or they benefit from the degradation of society, even if they pass their civics test and they do their...
All right, so what parameters did you want to instill?
I believe that you should have children as a parameter to vote, because you already invested in the future of the society if you have a child, at least one. I think that you should have land as well. If you don't have a child, you should have a business, not necessarily land, but a business with at least 2 employees. And I think military service is a big one. If you're willing to voluntarily go into the military, I think that should give you the right to vote. But I don't think that everyone should have the right to vote.
I agree. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, putting parameters on it, because there's a lot of dudes that are retards too.
Yeah.
But again, I'm starting like at base level 0. And
Base
then
level, yeah, 'cause that's
obviously
where we are
you
right
can
now.
build up from
Yeah.
there and add parameters on the male side too. But the point I'm trying to say is like at bare 0, like it shouldn't be women have the right to vote right there alongside a guy. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, okay. I agree with that. And one more thing. Who do you think did 9/11?
Well, it was a combination of different entities, right? Like I know a lot of people want to say the Jews did it. Like that's a bit disingenuous and omits quite a bit of fact. It was a combination of the U.S. government, obviously Al-Qaeda, Israeli intelligence, and the billionaire class, right? It was multiple people working, whether compartmentalized or unbeknownst to each other or known, and ended up happening. And there's obviously a lot of evidence for this, but I think the topic that always gets omitted when we talk about 9/11 is the Israeli intelligence angle that no one ever wants to talk about.
Okay. Thank you for your time.
No worries, man.
Yo, what's up, Myron?
Yo.
I have a quick question. So you were talking about earlier when you clarified that if you were going to be the president, you kind of like measure people by their IQ to see like what roles they would fill out. Correct. I was here like later while you're in mid sentence. So I just want you to clarify what you meant by that.
Yeah, I was fucking around, man.
All right. Well, then I'll go move over to the next
Yeah, go
topic. So what do you agree with like the two party system? Do you think like a third party system would be able to win a presidency like the Green Party or Libertarian at some point?
Well, both parties don't really serve us, right? Like,
Yeah.
Democrats are faggots. Republicans are owned by Jews. And, independents a lot of the times are just, they tend to not have enough, pull to actually win an election. So we'll see what happens. But, I think aligning with any party nowadays is kind of, retarded.
Yeah, I mean, I think, like, for example, like the British Parliament, even though they do have parties, they do have many parties that are able to, like, kind of even everything out, versus here we have the two-party system that's just completely faulty and outdated.
Yeah, very, very outdated, because obviously society's changed quite a bit, so it's not necessarily as black and white, right? I would argue, like, most people tend to be, they'll be right-wing on some issues, or they'll be left-wing on some other ones, right? Maybe, culturally they'll be right-wing, but then politically they'll be left-wing. Like, it depends.
Yeah.
Everyone's different. But I do think that the two-party class system that we have doesn't really serve us in the best light, and we're seeing that, right? Like, Trump literally campaigned on no new wars, and what's he doing? He started a fucking war with Iran, which is retarded.
So to build with that, knowing what you know today about everything that's going on, would you, going back to the election, would you vote for Trump or would you pick Kamala Harris, knowing what you know today?
There's no way I would have voted for Kamala Harris. No way.
And how
She's
come?
so incompetent and retarded. Like, even though I don't like what Trump is doing, he was still a far better candidate. And she actually wrote in her book how, like, me and Andrew Tate kept her from winning, which is pretty dope. But yeah, like, I would have never voted for Kamala.
So do
you
you
can't
think
have a female president, man.
Yeah. So do you think moral standpoint is outside of politics? Because obviously we know what everything that Donald Trump's did in the Epstein files versus Kamala Harris's policies just like don't align with what you view with. Are you going to take the moral high ground and vote for someone who you think is a less political candidate? Or are you going to like get rid of the morals and just go for who you think is going to lead the country better?
I think you got to go for whoever's going to be the better candidate, right? Like, I know a lot of people vote on, like, their feels.
Yeah.
But realistically speaking, I think it's best to put the guy in, or the guy, not the woman, but put the guy in that's going to be the best candidate for the job and get the most stuff done.
But don't you think there's levels to it? Like the fact that it's not just like, oh, he like called someone like a racial slur. The fact that he's been accused by 40, 50 women raping. He's deep in the Epstein files. He's deep into the Jewish area. I mean, like, you got to look at like what he's in.
Yeah, that's a problem, but I still wouldn't vote for Kamala.
Is it because purely because she's a woman, or purely?
Well,
because
that's
her
a part of the
political
reason,
ideals?
but she's also incredibly incompetent, and we already saw her body of work under Biden, and she literally said, if I became, they asked her, what would you change? Would you change anything? And she pretty much said no when she was on The View. That was actually what fucked her up.
Yeah.
So, again, I'm not happy with Trump with what's going on right now, but I still think he was a way better candidate than Kamala Harris.
Okay. And one last question: do you think prejudice has like a good in today's society at all? Like, do you think it does have any benefit?
I think being biased, prejudiced, or racist to a degree is actually higher IQ, and I'll tell you why. It's pattern recognition, right? So, and a lot of the times, and there's nothing wrong with that. Like, like I think we put so much stake on people's feelings versus like reality, and there's nothing wrong with just being painfully blunt and putting people in boxes. Like, that's just how the world works. Like, as human beings, we don't have time to get to know everybody, see what their moral character is or whatever else like that. Like, a lot of the times from a survival instinct perspective, you just see somebody, if they come off a little weird, okay, let me just avoid this problem, right? There's a reason why God gave us these senses where you get that, that knot in your stomach, or your heart sinks. So I don't think that there's anything wrong with being biased or prejudiced or racist to some degree, because a lot of times it's rooted in fact. I'll give you an example. I don't want to live in a black neighborhood. I don't think anybody does.
Okay.
And anyone here that says that they want to live in a black neighborhood is fucking lying to themselves and everybody else here. And there's nothing wrong with admitting that, because we know that on a balance of probabilities, not every single black neighborhood, but a lot of them, you're going to be probably mugged or be involved or in the middle of some kind of crime, or it's going to be a high crime area. And there's nothing wrong with saying that out loud, right?
So I want to build on that you said that they have a higher IQ to a prejudice to some degree. So you stated pattern recognition. So
It's a component of IQ.
Yeah, of course. But I'm saying like pattern recognition. If you're looking at someone who's not around, for example, like a predominantly white neighborhood, goes to college, for example, in a predominantly black neighborhood, do you think they're automatically going to have some sort of prejudice because that's not their environment that they're around, and that's also an example of pattern recognition?
I'm a little confused by your question.
So I'm saying, like, you're saying pattern recognition is an example of higher IQ,
Yes.
right? Okay.
It's a component. It's not the entire.
Yeah, of course. But I'm saying, like, the reason why they like get the pattern recognition is because that's the environment that they're around. For example, if you're around a low crime rate environment that has like higher white percentage, you're obviously going to be more comfortable around white folk versus if you're around a black neighborhood, you're going to be more comfortable around black people.
Of course, your
Okay.
experiences are always going to, help you formulate your worldview.
Okay.
Right? Of course. And there's
Yeah.
always going to be exceptions and, differences and
Okay.
everything is nuanced and exceptions don't make the rule.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying in general, right,
Mhm.
is most people probably don't want to live in a predominantly black neighborhood because on the balance of probabilities, it's probably going to be higher crime rate, unfortunately.
Okay.
Right? Does that mean every single one is?
No, of course not. Yeah, yeah.
But a lot of them are.
Okay.
So people aren't going to gamble with the chance. And, I don't think that should be, I don't think there's a problem with admitting that.
Okay. But I'm saying there is multiple. I'm not trying to be the guy that just pulls studies out of his ass and like there's a study of this, study of that, and they can't cite anything. But I'm saying there are studies that connect prejudice to lower IQ too, because that's not what they're understanding around their surroundings. So
yeah, I mean, you're going to find, you're going to find people that are prejudiced that are retarded, and then you're going to find other people that are prejudiced that are higher IQ. It depends on the person, right?
Yeah.
That's why I said higher IQ, a component of it is pattern recognition. But yes, there are some people that lack critical thinking skills that are just prejudiced and racist for nothing more than just to do it, right?
Yeah.
So it's a very case-by-case situation.
Okay. Yeah, well, thank you for coming, Byron. It was great talking to you.
Yeah, no worries, man.
How close do I have to get like this? Yeah, basically kiss the mic. Oh, that's a little weird.
All right,
Okay.
cool. So we got like another 20 minutes, guys, so we'll try to get some more disagreements if we can. What's up?
So I wanted to talk to you about like your claim that it wasn't 6 million Jews that died in the Holocaust. I just want to know what's your basis for saying that? Like what motivates you to think that claim is not true?
There weren't enough ovens for the cookies.
So that's like a very standard argument against that, but I think the main pushback is that the gas chambers were not the only way that Jews were killed in the Holocaust. In fact, it wasn't even a majority of the way that Jews were killed.
What was that? Say that again?
That the gas chambers were not the main way that Jews were killed in the Holocaust.
Yeah.
There's plenty of other ways that, and in fact, like gas chambers weren't even the majority of the deaths.
Mhm.
You had death marches, you had Jews getting rounded up and then set into lines and then shot and pushed into ditches. Like the
Okay.
6 million figure is based on a lot more than just the gas chambers. And honestly, it's quite ignorant that you're saying that it was just, you can't bake 2 million cookies because that's really like a narrow standpoint. But sorry, you want to say something?
No, go ahead.
So I just think that maybe it wasn't exactly 6 million.
That's my point. That's precisely
Sure.
my point.
But the thing is that what do you think that it is instead of 6 million?
Well, we got data that goes from 271K at best all the way up to the 6 million number. And my argument is simply that we should be able to have that discussion without being canceled and banned everywhere.
Sure, and I can agree that we should have that discussion. But on another facet,
What
you
we
have
can
to,
is the problem.
I mean, like in certain circumstances when you're like being anti-Semitic, which I'm
And-
not saying that like
and
that,
that's precisely
no,
why.
No,
Like-
you're cutting me off.
Because-
I'm not
'cause
saying
that's
that
why.
having that discussion is inherently anti-Semitic, but you cannot, and I think that most people here would agree that you cannot go and say that most discussions when it comes to the whole 271K figure about how many people died in the Holocaust isn't usually within the context of anti-Semitism. I'm not saying that it inherently is, but most often when it comes up in the context of anti-Semitic rhetoric and Nazi dog whistles and stuff like that. And we see it all over social media, guaranteed that social media is an echo chamber. But still, like most of these contexts where you're saying it, it's in anti-Semitic context. But even despite that,
Anti-Semitism is a bullshit term. It's not real.
why do you say that?
Well, here's the thing. A lot of Jews aren't even really Semites. They're Ashkenazis, etc. And I find it funny when people say things like, oh, well, you're anti-Semitic. Like, I'm a Semite myself. I'm an Arab. So it's like when people say that to me, it's like, okay, that doesn't make sense. And the other thing as well is that this is precisely why people don't have the conversation, because within seconds of you talking about this topic, you went anti-Semitism. And
But I
now
didn't claim that you were being anti-Semitic when I said that.
Well, you inferred it. And that's fine. Like, I don't
No, I
care.
didn't.
But, like, the problem here is that this is precisely why people don't want to have this conversation, because I'm not scared to be called an anti-Semite, because anti-Semitism translation is like, I don't like what you're saying, so I'm just going to go ahead and call you an anti-Semite, but the reality is they can never call me a liar.
Well, the
when
thing
I'm
is
critical
that
of,
I'm
like,
trying to open this conversation with you right now
when I'm
because you're making
critical
that
of-
claim
but-
and you're not being able to substantiate it, other than the fact that you've just seen studies that is in that range. But have you ever
Okay.
like looked into the validity
I don't know
of
if
any
you
of those
listened to
studies?
earlier when I literally explained this. I'm not disputing that it happened. What I am saying is that I don't think the way the official narrative was told to us lines up and is accurate. And the reason why I'm skeptical is because there are certain things or certain facts that were presented that just simply don't make sense from a numerical perspective. And then on top of that, we know that Jews in America derive a lot of their victimhood from the Holocaust. It's $1 billion industry, movies, books, Holocaust museums, etc. There's an entire economic incentive to protect this event. And it's the only event that you can't talk about openly, and it's banned in almost 20 countries. And I'm extremely skeptical because these are the same people that said a genocide didn't happen in Gaza, and we watched it all with our own eyes. So if they would lie about something that literally happened in front of all of us in 1080p, why would they not lie about an event that occurred back in the 1940s where there was no cameras, very few witnesses? A lot of the witnesses were exposed for writing books and memorials that they made money off of, and they, sensationalized the story. Like, let's be honest, a lot of Jews have lied about it, and they've used it to their own personal benefit. And I encourage you to look up the case of Ernest Zundel, where in Canada, he was arrested for this and charged because it's a crime there. And he actually ended up getting a bunch of expert witnesses, and they did a pretty good job of, kind of beating up the official narrative, right? They brought in a bunch of experts. They cross-examined Holocaust survivors who admitted that they lied in their books and their memorials for financial gain. Again, I'm not denying that it happened. However, I do think that there's some extremely questionable facets to it where it didn't occur the way that they did, and they have all the political, economic, and victimhood narrative incentives to push that narrative.
So then, what about the historicity of the rest of the documents that were used to create?
I'm sorry?
The historicity of the documents that were used to
Like the
create
Nuremberg trials?
Well, there's things like the reason that the 6 million Jew figure came up is because of Nazi documents that documented like rough estimates of deaths, and also bureaus that talked about
Well, yeah,
the
if we're going to look
decline
at
in Jewish
documents,
population in Europe.
the Red Cross said 271K. If we're going to look at documents, not one of the documents ever, because everyone says the Nazis kept, spotless records or meticulous records. There's not one shred of paper that said, we're going to systematically exterminate these people. They were labor camps. They weren't extermination camps like they tried to say. Because here's the other thing, too, that we got to have a little bit of common sense. If they were really extermination camps like people say, then why feed them? Why let them live? Why have them do work? Like, why was there a birth ward? Why were children born at Auschwitz? Like, if the goal was systemic extermination, like how they try to claim, then why did they keep them alive?
Well,
the reality is a lot of them died from
They're still using
typhus.
the Jewish people as labor. That's why you'd want to incentivize having.
Okay,
those
so
Jews
if they're there for labor, then that by definition means they're not an extermination camp. But that's what they try to say is it's an extermination camp, which doesn't make sense.
That doesn't
because
mean
why
that
would
people
they keep them
there can't be
alive?
exterminated themselves. People who are diseased would be exterminated.
Yeah,
you
they died
still have
because-
labor being like actively recruited. You know,
Okay,
they had
a
trains
lot of them
going
died
into
from
Auschwitz every
typhus.
day.
A lot of them died from typhus, being in close quarters, and it was extremely contagious, and it was spread with lice. This is why they shaved their heads and had them delousing. So, again, more inconsistencies with that situation. So if it was really about, let's just get rid of these guys, whatever, why keep them alive? Why have a maternity ward? Why keep them alive and feed them? The other thing also that's very important is that the Allies shut off a lot of the shipments coming into Germany, so they couldn't even feed them. So a lot of the people died when the Allies were getting closer and closer into Germany. So, look, obviously World War II was horrible. Let me be clear about this. It was horrible. It was an atrocity. Millions upon millions of people died. I'm not disputing that. I'm simply saying we should be able to have a conversation on one of the most important historical events that is constantly being used to reaffirm a certain group's victimhood that is always thrown out without ever being challenged. And if you do challenge it, they call you an anti-Semite and try to ruin your career or ruin your life. Now, me, I don't give a shit. I'll call it like it is. But there's a reason why nobody here can even have this conversation, and that's a problem in itself. Because we could question the Gaza genocide all day, but if you question the Holocaust and say, hey, look, I don't know if it's 6 million, you could lose your job and your livelihood for that.
Sure, and I would agree that it's nice to have that conversation to open that dialogue, but I do think.
Well, we
that
can't because Jews run America.
Well,
and they're
okay.
pro-censorship, and that's an issue. a big issue.
I think that there's plenty of people that exist in the U.S. government that aren't Jewish and that are also pulling for the same narratives.
Jews are literally in every main infrastructure of American society, whether it's finance, banking, the government, lobby groups, higher end institutions like the Ivy Leagues, big tech, social media, pornography, movie industry. They literally have overrepresentation in every major facet of American society. And look, that's great. They're 2% of the population. They have an enormous amount of control. My issue is they use that control to push for the benefit of a foreign state. The fact that Jews have so much power in America is precisely why we're in the middle of a pointless war right now that's about to be in Iraq #2, which we got into back 20 years ago. And why is it? Because world Jewry, it's a real thing. And, this gets you banned even talking about it. And it's an issue. Jews run America. They occupy America, and they have too much representation and power in a lot of our infrastructure points that puts us in precarious situations politically. And we're literally about to go to war again for them. Okay. The U.S. enjoys no strategic benefits from the wars in the Middle East, especially this one with Iran. Iran's not our enemy. That's Israel's enemy. They're worried about the ballistic missile program. Those ballistic missiles can't hit us. And the nuclear weapon was a lie, too. Like Donald Trump said, we destroyed their nuclear program back in June, Operation Midnight Hammer. And then 8 months later, they were 2 weeks away from a nuclear bomb. Well, which one is it, Trump? Like, did you destroy the program like you claimed before? Or what's going on here? So it's just a bunch of doublespeak.
Okay, thank you.
No worries.
What's up?
No, it's not.
You said women deserve...
I would argue Israel is a bigger national security threat to America than Iran by far.
Why?
Why? Because they subvert our government and they lobby us to do things that we shouldn't be doing, like getting involved in foreign intervention in the Middle East. I mean, you're welcome to come up to the mic if you want to have that discussion.
I mean, I agree on that, but you said women deserve less. And so I was wondering if you get boxed and why you glaze Andrew Tate so much. Like, I agree with some of his stuff too, but you seem to bring him up a lot, like yourself. Like, where do you
I
get
literally
your
brought
own...
him up. I literally brought him up one time.
But where do you get your own opinions from that are different from his? Where do you disagree from Andrew?
Okay. Number one, I brought him up once. Number two, he's a good friend of mine. I've known him for many years.
Okay.
And if, showing support or quoting a friend is considered glaze, then you're just low IQ. I don't know what to tell you.
You brought him up more than once, but yeah, I mean...
Brought him up once.
In that aspect...
And even if I brought him up more than once, like, what does that have to do with anything? Like, this is like a low IQ argument.
No, but I'm asking where you get your own opinions from that aren't his.
Well, I mean, I have my worldviews. He has his. I don't know. Like, what we might differ on, I don't know.
All right. But when you said that thing about frats being a control mechanism, what did you mean by that? Like, how is that a mechanism?
Well, I didn't necessarily say that. One of the other guys was saying that. And I expanded on it, saying, like, a lot of the things that we have in place, like gambling, sports, drugs, alcohol, etc., they're all, to distract you and problematic.
So then why do people that engage in those metrics have better lives and have more fun and make more money?
Drug users and gamblers have experienced better?
From my experience, yes.
Okay. All right. I think that's pretty self-explanatory at this point.
I mean, if you use Lease Me too, I feel like you can be successful. But like, it's what you do. It's not about the things you do to yourself, like say the drugs, the gambling. It's if you have that mindset and the IQ. So that's why IQ is everything, and those things don't matter as much.
Yeah, I'm never gonna advocate for gambling or smoking pot or drinking booze or being a degenerate. That's not my thing. Like, if you get by doing it, that's you, but understand that that's a major distraction for most men and ruins lives. So more power to you if you're able to function as an alcoholic or high. I mean, it sounds like you're high right now. I don't know.
Am I?
But yeah.
Yeah? All right. Just make sure you use Lease Me if you're looking at housing, high-income stuff. And then, like, dude, like, what the fuck is a skelly? But anyways, you're saying some of the stuff I agree with, but, like, appreciate your time.
I don't even know what you said just now, but that's fine. This guy is fucking cooked, dude. Bro is on the shrooms or something.
Oh, I like to.
All right, did somebody here say something about Israel? Like, you don't want to? Okay, no. Are you Jewish? Yeah, you are. Okay.
Hi.
Every single time. I mean, I'm not surprised that you're pro-Israel. I mean, you're Jewish. I mean, it's cool. Israel does not want peace whatsoever. Israel wants to be the hegemony in the Middle East and destroy all their neighbors as they've proven over several decades. They invade their neighbors, start wars with their neighbors, and the only reason why they're able to do that is because we give them an enormous amount of political and military cover.
Because we get access to the Middle East, so we can get oil, control the Strait of Hormuz in China.
Well, so that's working out great. The Strait of Hormuz is closed right now. That's working out great. Strait of Hormuz is literally closed right now because of Israel's retarded war. Yes. And how's that? And that's going to hurt every single American here when they're paying an extra $1 or $2 for gas.
Temporarily, if regime change happens, America will have control.
Yeah, get on the mic, dude, if you're going to go ahead and we can have this discussion.
Talk to me.
Yeah, no, get on the mic then, dude, if you're going to go ahead. Because we can have this discussion. But, yeah, see? Okay, here's the reason. He doesn't want to get on the mic because he understands that strategically speaking, the United States derives zero fucking benefit with going to war with Iran.
Oil.
What oil? Didn't we just get Venezuela's oil? Like, what oil? It's not the oil, dude. We're going to war for the Jews. We just got to admit it. Like, we're literally going to war for the Jews. But if you don't want to come on the mic, that's fine. I understand that it's a losing argument. The defense... Yeah, but you can't defend your points is the point. We have zero strategic benefit invading the Middle East and getting into war with Iran. Absolutely none. We'll go to her. She was here first. Go ahead. You're good. Go ahead. Let her go first. She was there.
Hi.
Yep.
Your statement here, women deserve less.
Yes.
What substantiates that conclusion?
What substantiates why men need to give women less?
Why? Wait. Because what you said was different. You said, okay, I'm reading, women deserve less. And then you said, men something give women less?
Women deserve less?
Okay, so that claim. What substantiates that claim?
Because women are incredibly entitled, rude, narcissistic,
okay.
solipsistic,
Okay, so let's
have huge egos.
Okay, so let's zero in on that one point. You said entitled. Okay, so women are entitled. How did you come to that conclusion?
Well, I think any heterosexual guy here will agree with me that dating women.
How did you come to that conclusion? What's your reasoning?
So you want my anecdotal answer?
No, I don't. I'm talking about logic. Like, what's your reasoning? This doesn't include.
Okay, I mean, I can draw from many different, I guess, pools. But in general, I've talked to over 4,000 women.
No. This isn't. I'm trying to get what science substantiates that claim. What studies are there that support the claim that women are entitled, and then therefore it necessarily follows that women deserve less?
Women, okay, are opportunistic maters.
Okay. No, okay.
Oh, God.
Okay, now you're doing something different. So we started off with women are entitled, and now you're saying opportunistic maters. Which one, let's focus on one at a time.
If you stop interrupting me, then I can explain it out for you, because this is, obviously, I need to start at 1 before I get you to 10.
Okay.
So number 1, women are opportunistic lovers, okay? So what that means is they require far more from the man than the man requires of them. Okay? This is shown all throughout the animal kingdom. The man must be able to provide, protect. Okay, she has her notebook out. Okay, great.
I'm trying to follow your premise.
Sure, yeah. Okay, we'll go through it then.
To see if your conclusion logically
Yeah, sure. So women are opportunistic lovers, okay? And what that means is they require more from their mate than their mate requires of them. Typically, men just want sexual access. Women want security, and that security falls in many different forms: provisioning, protection, leadership, competence, etc. So since women are opportunistic lovers and require more from the guy, okay, what ends up happening is women have a you need to impress me type mindset. Now, here's the thing. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm all for men competing in the hierarchy for the pursuit of reproductive access. However, in 2026, with the explosion of the internet, dating apps, social media, etc., women have become almost insufferable and intolerable with their solipsism, narcissism, entitlement, etc. So in other words, average women think that average men don't qualify for them. Average women think that they're better than average men. So, and this is because a lot of simps blow smoke up women's asses thanks to the internet, and this has them going out thinking that they demand or want the best guy, because also, since we live in what I call a globalized sexual marketplace, women have access to higher status and more attractive men. So once a woman has access to these kinds of men, she automatically assumes she's at that level. A woman could date 3, 4, 5, 6 different levels above herself. So what ends up happening is they conflate that sexual access or that dating access with this is what I deserve in a long-term relationship, and the two typically don't align. So this is why I say women deserve less, because most guys give them more. So you need to stick out and not be a simp.
Okay. So
Hope that makes sense.
you went through a series of propositions. The first one is that women are opportunistic lovers. You substantiated that by saying that men just want sex and that women require more. Now let's examine what that means. So saying that women require more and that men only want sex, they only require sex, that is basically
It is the
same
predominant thing we
as
look for.
saying that so now you're making a universal claim for all men that men just want sex.
No, that is the predominant reason we talk to women in the first place.
So you
If
do
women
that.
didn't have vaginas, we would not talk to you guys.
Okay, you do that because
Most women are insufferable and annoying.
No,
So most
you-
guys
yes.
would not talk to you if you didn't have a vagina.
Great. So that reason.
And that's the God honest truth.
Just. Wow.
I'm listening, but I'm just being real with you. Like, men typically only deal with women for sexual access. That's it.
Cool. So maybe men who reduce women to sexual objects do that. Though it's not necessarily the case that all men do that. There are men who do talk to women because women do offer friendship. They offer.
No guy wants to be friends with women. Most
You
guys sit in the
don't.
friend zone because it's a strategy to try to get laid later.
So you don't do that.
I'm sorry?
So you don't do that. And so
Whether I do it or not is
follow.
irrelevant. What I'm saying is that when guys have allegedly platonic relationships with women as friendships, they typically have ulterior motives. They want to get laid.
So
Being friends with women has no benefit for a man at all. Very little. Unless she has some type of situation where she can assist him or whatever, but in most male-female
about gay
friendships, men derive almost no benefit from
what
that
about
friendship.
gay men? Gay men who are friends with women.
I'm sorry?
What about gay men who are friends with women?
They don't count because, they don't even hang out with women a lot of times.
Well, so why don't they count? Gay men, why don't they count? Gay men who are friends with women, why don't they?
Well, to keep the conversation concise, heterosexual men typically don't derive benefit from being friends with women.
Okay. So it's 3:01. Do you want to keep going?
What was that?
It's 3:01. Do you want to keep going?
Can we finish at least this one? Okay, we'll finish this. We'll give you. So you're the last one. So
Okay.
go ahead.
So I guess Jesus saves, it's over.
Finish what you were gonna say. You're good. Go ahead. We can hear you.
No, do not joke about that. I'm trying to knock it.
Here, you can finish what.
Okay.
Go ahead, please.
So
Jesus is a Jewish Messiah.
Guys, let her finish because
Okay.
she's the last one. Let her finish what she was saying. Go ahead.
okay.
Go ahead,
Well,
finish.
I guess
We were on the topic of
to-
platonic friendships and how it doesn't work out for men's favors. How it doesn't.
Yes, so men
yeah.
who only view women as sexual objects aren't able to be friends with women, but there are men who do not view women as sexual objects. And so the reason why I was bringing up the example of gay men is because gay men aren't sexually attracted to women by definition, right? And so just knowing that there are men who are friends with women and aren't sexually attracted to them, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to show you why your claim is not a universal claim. And you seem to keep going back and forth on whether or not it's a universal claim, and it's because you are drawing upon
speaking in
personal
general.
experience.
I'm speaking
right,
in
so,
general.
Okay, you say general, universal, I say universal. So
Most men that are friends with women with ulterior motives. Does that mean that every single guy that's friends with a female has ulterior motives? No, but a lot of them do. A lot of them, like if we took 10 guys that are friends with women, probably 7 to 8 of them are trying to get laid. The other 2 might actually look at it as a platonic friendship. But the majority of the time, they're not. And the reason why is because women simply don't provide enough value from a platonic friendship perspective to justify being friends with them, because men almost always have to bring more to the table. You get boyfriend energy, you get someone you could complain to, you get protection, all this crap. All the boyfriend stuff without giving up the girlfriend stuff.
Okay.
That's the issue with platonic friendship, allegedly. Go ahead.
Okay. So
Stumped, I guess?
what? No, it's not that I'm stumped. It's just that what you are saying logically does not.
It makes perfect sense logically.
make
Men want to fuck,
mind,
so they will take
to your mind,
Uh-huh.
for men who only view women as sexual objects, and they only value women insofar as the women can provide some kind of sexual satisfaction for the man, sure, then your view applies. But what I'm saying is that your view does not apply broadly. Like
It actually
for
does.
all men. Okay.
Okay,
so
what are human beings put on earth to do?
have fun and live and hang
Okay.
out with our friends. and
Let's translate the womanese. Have sex and have kids, right?
Okay,
So-
that's what you think
Yeah,
because
okay.
you
We know what that means when
are-
girls say that. So
So-
we're put on earth to have sex and have kids. Like, that's why we're here, right? So the man's sexual urge is extremely strong, okay? You're a female, so you might not understand it. But testosterone makes you horny all the fucking time. One of the main reasons why men deal with women in the first place is for sexual access.
Damn.
Now, some guys go through this surreptitiously, pretending to be your friend. Oh, I'm here in your corner. But the reality is they want to have sex, and that's their mating strategy to get said sex. Guys use different strategies to try to get laid.
Okay, I see that.
In
there
short,
is not
if
anything that I-
women didn't have vaginas, most guys would not talk to you.
So are you talking to me now because you want to have sex with me?
This is actually precisely why I don't talk to women, actually. This is precisely why I only do it when I'm on camera, bro. This shit is frustrating. Bro, this is actually precisely why I don't talk to women off camera. Because it's ridiculous.
No, what? So does your claim hold yes or no?
What? That I only talk to...
No, like you said, men only talk to women
Mhm.
because they want to have sex with them. I am a woman. We are talking.
You came up to the microphone to have a debate. This is a completely different scenario than the average male-female scenario and dynamic of talking to each other.
Okay, so
Yeah, see, this is what I mean when I say women lack critical thinking skills. It's like,
No.
you know what I mean?
See,
It's like, let me just take this
this
one
isn't- no, no,
example
no, 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 no.
and try to use this and build
See,
my entire argument on it.
no,
Are you
see,
trying to have sex with
I-
me?
No,
Because
the
we're
reason-
talking right
look,
now. It's
that
like,
because, no. What I was
no.
doing, that I know, I understand. Like, it's a. The reason why I said that is to demonstrate why your argument does not hold.
What part of my argument doesn't hold?
Oh, where to start with that one? So you went through a series of propositions, and those propositions in themselves weren't substantiated by any kind of scientific evidence, any kind of peer-reviewed
They're literally
studies.
substantiated by human evolution and biology.
Okay.
Like,
so, but
it's
that's not
literally
that's not-
biology. It's very
no,
simple.
No. See, no. See, but are there peer-reviewed studies? Like, are there studies that I can look up right now that say men are only friends with women because they want to only have sex with women, and that's it? Like,
Yes.
men do right.
If you pull up
no.
studies,
Okay.
if you pull up studies, it will tell you that what men look for in women is youth and beauty, which is tied to
Okay,
sex.
so where does that come from? Where does that like desire for youth and beauty come from? I'm trying to challenge like the claims that you make that you take to be true. They're just fundamental.
Okay, so you don't agree that men look for youth and beauty in women?
Okay, what I'm trying to do is understand why you are doing But it seems to me that based on our conversation,
See, you're focusing
and our
more on
back
me
and
than my
forth-
argument. That's the issue
No.
here. This is why you you can't formulate an argument. You're more concerned with me.
See, no.
And my
Because-
worldview versus me telling you the biological fact that men
Okay, so what
are
you're doing
interested
right now
in
is
reproduction.
okay, so what you're doing right now is conflating your worldview with what science is. So you're saying because I believe this and because there are these scientific studies that say this, therefore this. However, we have to challenge the fundamental claims. Why is it that men only value youth and beauty? Is it because we happen to live in a society where women are valued in context to their ability to only reproduce up to a certain age, right? And then after that, women quote unquote expire after a certain age. So see, the thing is that in itself, we cannot even truly say that because that is a social phenomenon that is a product of our society. And so we have to look at the structures that support what it is that we are even trying to understand. And so that's why I'm challenging.
All right,
the
so
claim
guys,
that
this
you're
is
making.
this proves right now
No.
why women need to
No,
be second
no.
class citizens again and be put in the
Okay,
kitchen.
no,
this
this
is
actually-
crazy.
this actually doesn't
I'm literally
prove
telling her the
anything.
sky's blue, and she's arguing with me, saying, "Well, I think it's green because if I look at it through
No,
this lens,
that
it's
is
actually
not
this
an
way."
equivalent
Like,
analogy. That is not
Wha-
an analogous
women have a very
situation.
difficult time accepting and understanding biological fact because you guys don't like the fact that men are looked at as success objects. I accept this, while women tend to be looked at as sex objects. This is the reality. I bring resources, you bring sexuality.
So
That's what men
this
look
is
for. There's
the
a reason why,
world-
hold on, stop. There's a reason why
No.
men universally between 18 to 60 years old find the same exact demographic
Yeah,
of female
and why
attractive.
is that?
18 to
Why?
24. That is the
Why?
golden range that men look for.
Okay.
They don't care about
See,
your
but
education,
you're not
your
going
status.
further and questioning why, and that's why
You're asking for
having
studies, and I'm
trouble.
literally telling you the studies.
No. Okay. Then what journals are they in?
What?
Who are the authors? Where can I find these peer-reviewed studies? What's the DOI? Where can I find these peer-reviewed studies?
Yeah, look it up. If we can't even
Sure,
be
there
on
are
common
many,
ground
many
that
studies.
men are interested in women from a sexual replication value, then we can't even have a conversation because you're in Looney Tune world. You're literally you don't even accept basic reality
Okay,
that
so
men.
because I don't accept your reality, then that means that
No, you don't
I'm
accept
wrong.
reality.
No,
And that's
see,
actually a
but
privilege
you're
that- you know,
saying
this is
that-
interesting.
No.
Guys,
See,
as
what
you guys
you're-
can see
you're
here, hold on,
doing
stop.
this,
Because
No. Because
This is
what
very
you're
interesting.
doing right now is doing this weird
This
back
woman
and forth, trying to
is living in a Looney Tune world, and she's allowed to live in a Looney Tune world because she's a female. That is a privilege that only women have, where they could be this delusional, this unaware, lack this much critical thinking, and still make it by in life. If
No,
we took
I
her
think
brain and
so
put it in
what
a
you're
man's
doing right
body,
now is
he'd be
projecting.
fucking homeless.
No.
Because this girl's
See,
low
that's
IQ.
what you are doing.
This is
That's what
incredible.
you are doing.
And
You're
she's
the
a
one
college
coming-
student too.
You are the one coming to
Like, this
college
is the perfect
campuses
example of higher
trying
education
to-
does not mean that you're higher IQ. This is crazy.
Okay.
You can't even accept biological reality.
See, because it is not a
Feminism for you guys.
hardline fact, right? It's not the same kind of truth as 2 + 2 = 4. That is a fundamental truth about our world, right? And so I'm trying to draw the distinction between these analytic truths.
You know what's
and then
funny?
these,
I'm looking at everybody
synthetic
here.
truths.
They all think you're retarded. I'm being honest with
No.
you. You can't see them, but they all think you're retarded. I'm not even trying to be an asshole here, but we need to.
Look,
this is why we need to bring
I'm
bullying
not
back, right?
thinking about-
Bullying is good.
I'm not thinking
because
about them.
here's the
I'm
thing:
looking
women
at-
never get
no.
bullied for their stupidity.
No.
This is gonna be. This is going to remind her, oh shit, maybe I should think before I speak. Because if a guy was on here saying this ridiculous stuff, we'd all be laughing at him like, you're retarded, dude. But with women, you guys get a privilege of being morons just because you got tits and a vagina, and we got some simps here in the back, probably a Jew, and we don't say anything to you guys because we don't have sex with you. Women are able to say preposterous things because we want to get laid.
So
it's
I'm
actually
looking-
incredible.
Okay, great.
Incredible.
So, great. Okay. I'm looking at my students in the crowd here. To my students, my female students, my male students, this is not the way that argumentation works. And I want you to know that no matter who you are, just please do your best to exercise your reasoning, develop it, because this is not it. And I just want
Well, there's a
my
reason you should be in the
students
kitchen, and it's pretty clear
I
right now.
see my students
Speaking of
here.
reasoning, you should be making a sandwich for a
This
man who's
is-
superior to you because clearly cognitively you have some issues.
I
This
think
is
you
nuts.
cognitively have some
Only women have the
issues.
privilege of being retarded, gentlemen. Get the book. Why Women Deserve Even Less.